Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to the Nocturnal Nerdcast, Pop Culture in the Dark, the number one late night fandom stream in the entire universe. And that's why the background is a universe. So, anyway, I am joined right now by 3Dub, Creative Crusader, here on this episode 1 of season 2 of the Nerdcast, which will run for another 100 episodes. No, I'm not going to give any, I don't want to say any spoilers because there is one thing that's already been spoiled, and I will talk about that one thing because it's already all over social media, but I'm not going to spoil like any of the big details of the episode. So, so there is one thing we'll talk about, but I will give people plenty of heads up before we get to that. I'm not going to just drop it on everyone. We have that. We're going to talk about an article from Variety. I think it's Variety from Disney. And there's a few other things we're going to chat about today, or tonight, I should say. We got 3Dub in the house, as I said. What is up, 3Dub? How are you doing this Thursday evening?
Doing pretty good. I like your new intro. It's very spectacular. It's very ultimate. It's very
There's not a lot amazing. There's not a lot of trailers for stuff in 2026, so I was like, I'm just going to put stuff in there that I love. So I'm not going to spoil the end of the Peacemaker episode. Like literally, the only thing I'm going to talk about is the first 2 minutes or 3 minutes of the episode where they talk about something or show something specifically, and that's it. Outside of that, I'm not going to talk about any of the details of the episode.
I honestly thought that was the end. I'm glad that wasn't the end.
No, it's the very beginning of the episode. The very beginning. It's in the recap. It's like the recap of season 1 is where that's at. So
that's interesting. That's very interesting. Yeah.
So, which is why I want to talk about it because I think it's gonna establish that we'll wait till everybody else gets here. I want to wait for everybody to get here. We'll get into that. I don't want to spoil anything. We have a member chat from Naruto, member for 41 months. Thank you for your support, Naruto. I'm watching Peacemaker right now, and the recap cracked me up. Yeah. By the way, the episode is only 42 minutes long, and it was only one episode. We will talk about Peacemaker spoilery on Mondays, so you'll have time to watch it. Like people that want to watch it on Thursday night, Friday morning, or whatever. We'll talk about that on Monday. So the spoiler stuff will be on Monday. So if you come in here after watching it, as of right now, this could change. Like as we move forward, if people want to watch it and then talk about it on Thursdays, we can do that. If not, I'll keep it less spoilery and more spoiler free.
Speaking of Monday, I'm actually going to see something that I wanted to see in live action, but I wasn't born yet, and that is Batman '89, Michael Keaton.
Yep.
It's coming back in theaters.
Oh, you mean seeing it? You mean seeing it in theaters?
Seeing it in theaters for the first time. Like I really wanted to see it in theaters because I wanted that experience, and I wasn't born yet, so that
makes sense.
Kind of happened.
Yeah, so I see a lot of people. See, this is the thing about Peacemaker. I'm reading the Discord right now. By the way, Discord link coming in. I'm going to drop the Discord link. If you guys aren't in the Discord, please consider joining the Discord. We drop the link every time we're live. So here's the Discord link right here.
And it's Dolby Cinema, which you get to feel the sound.
So you can join the Discord there. Jump in with us. A lot of people say they didn't know that the episode was out yet. That was one of the issues I had with it. Remember we talked about this 3Dub? There wasn't a lot of advertising for Peacemaker. And I was worried about it. So that's true. What's up, Anthony? How you doing? Well, Screwface, you don't have to be active. You can just kind of hang out. I kind of hang out and respond to stuff now and then, but there's specific channels that people are chatting in about different stuff, things like that. King Ryburn, please do not spoil the ending. I don't think you will, but I think I need to throw that out there. No spoilers yet. We still haven't even discussed the part that I'm going to talk about. So no spoilers, please. But yeah, great episode. Great beginning for the season. Yeah, there we go. Chris is funny. Peacemaker season 2 episode 1. Spoiler. It was awesome. Great start. Yeah, there's a lot that we can talk about. Well, you don't have to get Discord. The Discord is more about just being interactive with more of the community. Because honestly, when we're here on Mondays and Thursdays, this is when a lot of people get to chat with each other. And I know you guys enjoy coming in and doing that, especially I see people in the chat interacting with each other. I wanted to create a Discord for people to chat about stuff where you don't have to worry about all the bullshit that you get on Twitter and anywhere else like that. So
there's a spoiler channel on Discord.
There is.
Spoil.
Yep. So if you want to talk about spoilers for anything, you can head over to Discord and yeah. Robert says, am I okay to post what I posted in self-promotion? If you're posting a link here, it's not going to show up. I have links turned off in chat for a reason. People like to post malicious links. But if you post it in self-promotion in the Discord, that's totally okay.
Yeah, he was posting something he wanted to sell. So I said, if it's in self-promotion, it's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't care. Right. I don't care. As long as you're not harassing people. If you want to tell people in the Discord that you're selling something and you want them to go look at it, you can. Just don't spam. Just don't spam the chat. I don't care if you want to do that. Lone Wolf says, just saw the Peacemaker season 2 intro on YouTube and it doesn't hit the same as the first one. I think it's because we got spoiled with the first one. That was something we'd never seen anything like that before. And now we know what it is. So it doesn't feel like, it doesn't feel new or unique or whatever. I guess some other people are going to drop in. Maybe they're all watching Peacemaker right now. Maybe that's what it is. They didn't want to come into the stream without watching it, which is fine. Because we do have some topics. Let me go ahead and get some stuff lined up over here. But I want to remind everybody, if you are feeling like super chatting tonight, it would be very much appreciated. I am still getting a new computer. And I think I'm going to take everybody's advice. They were like, just go and get something and then do like a payment plan or whatever. I'll probably end up doing that. But I need to make sure I have the money going in to do that. And the way, so let me explain to you with my YouTube situation and like with money and everything is, you don't have Max yet, Lone Wolf. That's okay. We're not going to spoil it here. Is with my YouTube stuff, the way all of my businesses are, any money that I invest back into a business has to come from the business. Does that make sense? So like I'm not going to take like money from, our baking business or something like that to put it into YouTube. I typically like to fund all of my endeavors with the endeavors themselves. And so we have these great, amazing people in the chat who are always very generous to the show, donating with super chats, becoming channel members, things like that. Which, by the way, I want to remind everybody, if you don't have the ability to super chat, like you want to come in here and you want to support, but you don't have the ability to super chat, channel memberships are just a couple dollars a month for the lowest tier. You get early access, you get badges, you get emojis. If you want to support the channel and you don't have the ability to super chat during streams, you can simply become a channel member, and that does a lot too to support the channel. So I do appreciate everybody's support. But any super chat,
you get like a free once a month
super chat.
Chat. Yep.
Yeah. But I also want to remind everyone again that any super chats tonight from either channel are going into getting my new computer, because this one could croak at any moment. When it croaks, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to some stuff here. I hope everybody's having a good night tonight. We were supposed to get a big storm here because of that hurricane that was coming through, and it just barely missed us. So I'm happy for that.
One whopper of a hurricane too.
Did you see the pictures of it? It was pretty.
Yeah,
crazy.
I was like, that's huge.
pretty crazy. Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, let's talk about this for a moment. This is kind of interesting. So share this. You remember we looked last week at the Batman Lego game that's coming out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So we had this here. This came out and it was shared.
The rainbow.
First look at the rainbow bat suit in the new Lego Batman game. And I saw this and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is the one from the comics from like years and years and years ago. And apparently, because I've not played all of the Lego Batman games, but apparently it's been in other Lego Batman games before. So it's not really a new suit. But it says first look at the rainbow bat suit, and it's just like one of the additional suits that you get. Because I'm assuming like with any game, there's multiple costumes you can get. And so I saw this, and everyone, well, not everyone, that's hyperbolic. A lot of people started melting down over it and acting like it was this new thing that they'd never seen before in a million years. And so I went looking, and I'm like, okay, there were people that made videos in 2015 about the rainbow suit that was going to be in the Batman game at that time. And so I was like, wait. Yeah, it was a free DLC in Lego Batman 3. Yeah, which was like 10 years ago. It's like a decade ago. And so I was flipping out about it because I'm like, these people, they can't be serious with this. They cannot be serious with this. But I got more to say about it later on. There's a video coming out tomorrow about this. But here's some of the pictures. It says, Culture Crave just weeded out so many fake-ass Batman fans. 50s Rainbow Batman is woke now. Y'all so fucking dumb. And yeah, showing like all the different like designs that Batman's had, even in the animated stuff where we've done this before. Here we've done this. Over here we've done this. So this is all like stuff that's happened in the past.
Was there a purpose for him to wear it, or like did it like stop a criminal?
Okay, so the chat's gonna check me on this. You put me in a spot, 3Dub, because I don't remember the exact details. But let me tell you guys what I remember, and chat, tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm sure somebody's got, Google open right now, ready to check me on this. I believe the original story was Robin was injured. I think he broke his arm or his wrist or something. And then in order to distract people they were fighting, Batman wore the rainbow suit so that Robin would not get attacked for having a broken arm. I think that's the story. I really do. I could be wrong about that.
I honestly forgot that was the main reason why he has a Robin, is to distract that guy.
I do believe that was the reason why. Which is kind of funny to me. But yeah. So we do have a couple of things over here. I want to give a shout out to the super sticker, which is a sleepy super sticker from Cal. Here, I'm going to bring it up on screen. Looks like super chats are working tonight.
Yay.
But there we go. Thank you. Lone Wolf says with a $5 super chat, kicking it off tonight. Thank you so much. Just out of curiosity, how did Boba get access to the first 5 episodes? I never understood how that works or how they decide who can watch it. I could probably apply to do it. I'm just too lazy, I guess. I guess I should ask you guys, because I know that Ronan is also not, I don't know if he's got access to like all of them, but I know Netflix is one of the ones that he has access to. A couple other my friends have access to Netflix. Netflix is apparently one of the easiest ones to do. Paigey and I had access to CW stuff for like 1 season. No, it was the DC Online stuff for like 1 season, where we got to see things a little bit early each week, but not all at once. If you guys would like, I could apply. I mean, I've been very lazy about it. That's probably the best way to put it. Very lazy about doing it. But if the chat wants me to apply to get like early access to stuff, I will. I mean, I'll do it. I don't know if they'll say yes or not, but yeah. I mean, if Lance has access, then anybody can get access. That's just that's the reality of it. So,
burn.
I don't know where anybody is. I mean, I'm checking Discord now. No one has said anything in the mod room. So I'm assuming they're coming in tonight. Typically they'll tell me if they're not going to be here. So not totally sure. I got a whole video coming out tomorrow about the Rainbow Batman stuff on the Debunks channel. So if you're not a subscriber on the Debunks channel and you want to watch me do controversial stuff, head over there and subscribe. Subscribe to that one. Let's see. What else do we got here? There's something else I had bookmarked. There's another trailer that came out, but I don't remember what it was. Paigey's going to be here on the weekends, Cal. I'm going to start doing weekend streams in September, like twice a month, like 2 Saturdays a month. It'll probably be the after party. We'll just call it the after party on the weekends.
Technically, this is an after party.
I mean, it is technically, but I think we're just going to rebrand the after party and do them on the weekends, like twice a month, and Paige will join in. So you guys will get the intro to that back again, which will be funny. I need to get 3Dub to redo the intro for me and throw him a little bit of money. Say, 3Dub, do an intro for me. So Darren just finished streaming a bit ago, Cody says. Yeah, I know he does his stream before us, but typically he stops in. They might not be coming tonight. I mean, it's 12:01, and that's 30 minutes beyond the normal start time. So we might not see him tonight. I'm trying to wait a little bit. I'm going to wait another like 15 minutes before we talk about the Peacemaker stuff. Let's see here. I had something else bookmarked, but it looks like they deleted the tweet. So there's that. No, it was something about Happy Gilmore. Let me see. Where's it at? Because I thought it was really interesting. We talked about Happy Gilmore the other day. Oh, here it is. So Happy Gilmore 2 breaks Nielsen's streaming record with 2.9 billion viewing minutes in opening weekend.
Wow.
Happy Gilmore 2. I mean, I wasn't super impressed with it, but I guess a lot of people were waiting for this one.
I guess it has something to do with the like how well received the first one was, and like it's nostalgia, probably.
Yeah, I mean, that's just crazy. Because Adam Sandler's done other movies for Netflix. So what this tells me is we're going to see sequels to every Adam Sandler movie now.
Now that I've seen like multiple movies of Adam Sandler, I just realized he does like a lot of the same kind of thing but different. Like, you know, when he's toying with someone, he uses a high pitched mocking tone.
Yeah.
He does that in every single movie he's in. Now that I realize it.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, look, I don't. It's one of those things where I'm not waiting for the next one to come around, but for sure, you know, looking forward to seeing what. Are we gonna get like what was it? Which one's like Waterboy? Did they do a sequel to that one yet?
No.
Yeah. Billy Madison. That's another good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uncut Gems sequel. I mean, I don't know how they would do that, but these are inoffensive like sequels for nostalgia. So they do their job.
There's
basically.
some things you can't have a sequel to because they're so like they're for that time. Like Jim Carrey's movies are for that time. They can't be made today. There's also like, you know, Master of Disguise where they basically Indian faced Dana Carvey.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah, dude, that was controversial. Yeah.
They can't do that now.
No, I wouldn't want them to. But this is interesting because remember we got some originals from Adam Sandler on Netflix. I wonder if this is going to tell them that it's just better to do sequels to his old stuff. Like if they're going to stop doing new stuff and just lean into the sequel stuff instead. I wonder if that's what they're going to end up doing because at this point I don't know what the numbers are on any of the other movies. I can't imagine they're great though.
Click is actually my favorite Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah.
Have you seen Click?
Yeah.
That's
the refresh me on that one.
It's when he has a magical remote
control. Yeah, I do remember that one. All right. Yeah, I remember that one. So Grown Ups 3 would be huge. I actually think you're right about that.
Especially when there's like 5 well-known comedians in the movie.
Yeah. All right, let's jump over to this quickly and see what they have to have here. Oh, wait, hold on. I see you dropped something in there. All right. Oscar Isaac is urging audiences to watch Frankenstein in theaters and not on streaming, so he doesn't want you to watch it on Netflix. Seeing it in a theater would be ideal. I think people will go to see it on the big screen as much as they can. It is such a marvel. I wonder if that was intentional. It'd be nice to have a communal experience. And that's because there's been a lot of discussion about this film in general, and I guess films like this, and whether or not they should get like a theatrical window, even when they're coming out on streaming. I like the idea of giving movies like this an opportunity to go to theaters because this looks beautiful. I remember we watched the trailer, I don't know, a couple months ago, and I was blown away with the trailer. I thought it looked fantastic. It was so slick. The colors were vibrant. The cinematography looked amazing. So I'm really, really looking forward to this one. I will definitely go see this in theaters because I was hoping to get an opportunity to see it in theaters anyway. So if this is what Netflix is going to do moving forward, I'm totally on board with this 100%. Are you a fan of Oscar Isaac or Frankenstein?
Frankenstein, you know, the original stuff, but not like the new stuff. I like the like Igor or Igor.
Igor, I guess,
yeah. I like those classics over like the new like horror ones.
Yeah. Jeffrey says Ronan missing this topic. He can't wait for this movie. Yeah. Let's see here. Lone Wolf, you said, have you seen the toxicity surrounding are you talking about this movie or the one we just talked about? I don't know when this comment came through. Have you seen the toxicity surrounding this movie? Sean Chandler didn't like the film, and they lashed at him and told him to get drunk and enjoy it when he's been clean for years. Fans are rude. You have to be talking about Happy Gilmore too, right? I feel like that's the one you have to be talking about. Yeah, it is Gilmore. Right. Yeah. Look, Ronan, you guys are talking Frankenstein. I'll jump in for a bit.
You should have been here at the start, Ron.
Yeah.
Just Jane.
Chris says, I want to see Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein in theaters so badly. Going to try, but it's not at least on Netflix in November. But I'd love to see it in theaters. I am hoping that there is an opportunity for me locally to see this on theaters. I don't know what kind of how wide the release is going to be. Let me check on this. I'm not very certain on it, but I want to make sure that I check this.
It's kind of weird too, because my dad's like a huge movie buff, and I'm not a big movie guy. I like certain genres, but I don't like, for instance, Jaws, because that's horror, and I don't like horror. But my dad does. He likes every genre, and he's been trying to get me to go see stuff that I don't usually watch, like Freakier Friday and Jaws and other things.
Yeah. I feel like, so this is the unfortunate thing about this, that I know this is going to be a huge hit on Netflix no matter what, but this is going to be in limited theaters. So it's a 3-week theatrical run, starts on October 17th, and it runs for 3 weeks ahead of its November 7th Netflix debut. Now, since it's limited, which they haven't specified what limited means on this, but we're just going to look at what they've done in the past here. So, the Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, had a similar release strategy and debuted in around 600 theaters across North America. That figure is about 5 times fewer than what you'd expect for a conventional wide release. So 5 times fewer. So we're talking massively limited viewings for this movie. That's unfortunate. I hope they put them in more than 600 theaters. But they're suggesting, based on information, it's going to be a few hundred screens, and that's it.
I'm guessing it's low budget too, so they probably can make the money back in 3 weeks. I guess I brought up a good question.
No, I'm just double checking something here.
You could have agreed with me.
Well, I don't know I have to look and see what the budget is on this. I'm not sure what the budget is. So the Knives Out movie that went to 600 theaters, primarily were in the major chains. So we're talking AMC, Regal, and Cinemark. AMC specifics over 200 AMC locations in the U.S. plus European venues. So that's it. That's all we have. We don't really have a lot of information on this. What's up, Ronan? How are you doing?
What's up, man?
Somebody in the chat mentioned that this is one of your most anticipated movies, so they were wondering. They were where's Ronan at?
Pumped as fuck for this fucking movie, dude. Listen, Del Toro is the GOAT. He's one of the masters of cinema, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. He's been trying to do this movie since he started making it, and he said in all his previous stuff, you could see echoes of what he's been wanting to do with Frankenstein. This is the second thing. Yeah, the 2 out of the 3 big passion projects he's been wanting to do that I've known him for as long as I've known his filmography. I know it was Pinocchio, Frankenstein, and then the third one is At the Mountains of Madness, the H.P. Lovecraft
right.
He's been wanting to adapt. And so the fact that he got this made, and then it looks like it's gonna get an Oscar-worthy nominations if they stick the landing. The fact that he got Oscar Isaac to play this different alternative version to Victor Frankenstein. Mm. The budget, apparently, he said is $120 million.
Okay.
Which I think it's a fucking miracle in this day and age. We're all right, this is what most movies would cost, and they could easily, if they market it right, they could easily make their money back. But what I love is that he said that whenever he would get his budget, he said, I have to make it look like it's twice that amount.
Right.
And he did it with Shape of Water. Shape of Water cost him $19 million and change. That movie looks like it's $50 million, and it, made money. It got nominations. So, this is a big, big deal. And, it just, to me, I'm not throwing jabs at the stuff that I love right now, the pop culture, but this is to me, this feels like a big event for me. Like the way I feel when a Tarantino movie comes out, when Del Toro comes out with a movie, it's a fucking big event for me. So, and I'm a huge Oscar fan. And if you haven't seen Ex Machina, go watch Ex Machina.
I love that movie.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
Yeah.
The only advice I can give this movie is don't put it against 3 other franchises.
Well, I don't think it's. I don't know if the theatrical thing matters too much because they're doing it. Somebody in the chat mentioned Jake has arrived. Good to see you, Jake. Somebody in the chat mentioned that they do this primarily to get awards. To get into the awards. But Knives Out cost around $40 million. I'm looking at the last one they did this with, and that was Knives Out. It cost around $40 million for Netflix to make, and it ended up making a little under $20 million in the box office. So it got like almost half its budget back in the limited release that it was in. That was at 600 theaters. I'm going to assume this one's going to get more than 600 theaters if I had to guess.
I have literally told my family, I'm like, October 17th, don't you fucking plan anything out because I'm flying back to LA and you're going to catch it at the Egyptian Theater,
right?
At the New Beverly Cinema, wherever. And I'm hoping, I'm doing my best to stay there a week because I know Del Toro's going to have a Q&A and I got to go I got to meet him in person. Like he was 2 feet away from me at Comic-Con and I couldn't ask for an autograph or photo, but I was just like, I need to fucking see. Listen, y'all, I know we have Netflix, I know we have this stuff, but like, I will happily pay money to go see these movies in the big screen. I drove an hour away to go see Pinocchio.
Right.
It would be crazy if for the second year in a row, my favorite movie of the year ends up being a monster movie, because that was the case with Nosferatu last year. So it'd be funny if that ends up being the case 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Before we, I don't know how long anybody's staying. Before we jump into the next topic, is Darren not coming in tonight?
I don't know.
I don't know. I barely managed to squeeze it because right now I'm in the middle. I have like 2 different tabs. I'm rendering a video, I'm working on a thumbnail, and I'm trying to manage some other stuff.
Right. I understand if you got to jump out. The only reason why is because I know Darren typically, the topics that I pick, he usually likes to talk about. So I didn't want to jump into one of the topics. If he's coming in, I didn't want to jump into one of the topics that he was. And I know that he does a stream right before mine, and I wasn't sure who was there. So I
just sent him a message. So
yeah, and he didn't mention anything in the group chat. So on Discord, I wasn't sure.
Anyway, he's not live anymore. So
yeah. Oh, nobody was on there with him? You guys, nobody was on the stream with him?
No, there was, but he's not live anymore. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, gotcha. All right. So
we'll see if he responds. I just messaged him.
Yeah, no worries. So this was interesting. I saw this the other day. Mahershala Ali is reportedly not voicing Blade in Marvel Zombies. Todd Williams will take on the role. He also previously replaced Ali in the voice of Titan in Invincible. So the same actor took his role away from him twice now.
Jeez.
So you know what the thing about this is? I think this is a big sort of like, well, I don't want to say big. It's probably like low key, letting us know that he's probably not going to play Blade in the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, sucks to say, but I mean, it's not surprising when you look at the fact that Marshall is older now than Wesley was when he started. So it doesn't.
And Wesley's only like a decade older than him, so he's not that much older than Marshall is.
No, he's not. I mean, Wesley's what, 62, 63,
and he still looks really good for his age. Yeah. So, yeah, I saw this and I was like, this isn't good.
Most of the actors sometimes, most of them don't voice their characters in animation. No. I think it was a miracle that Benedict came back and played those characters in What If.
Mm.
But I don't know. Maybe this is a power play.
I think Simu Lee did it as well, didn't he? Yeah.
But like it could be a power play of like Marshall be like, no. Get me a script done.
Right.
And then I'll dive in deeper into this character and whatnot because again, this is a ironic thing that like backfires like, oh, we don't have a script done, but we announced something and it's just like it's been
that's what they ran into with him. They announced his casting first and then tried to write the movie around it instead of writing the movie and then casting him.
Let me tell you, like outside of this, even though we're talking about this, I want to just add some more to my thoughts on it about him not being in the role anymore. is the writing is kind of on the wall for what their plans are, like after Secret Wars. And it seems like they're going with a younger MCU. Like everyone is going to be like a younger character. I don't know if it's going to be good enough for them to make Blade like 20 years older than the cast of every other project they're doing.
I mean, the FF is still going to maintain their ages, presumably. So
right, but I think when the FF is gone, they're gone. I think they're not going to bring those characters back in the next phase of the MCU.
You don't think?
I mean, we might see the Maker. They might do something like that, but I don't think we're going to see like. I don't think that group. I think we have a couple of characters that are going to continue on that will just eventually vanish, which is like Doctor Strange and Fantastic Four, and some of the OGs that have been around for a while might age out in that group. But I think if someone isn't already playing a role like this one, what incentive do they have to stick to that? He's not played this role yet. And now he's not even a voice actor. What reason do they have to keep him around in this role? He's not someone like Benedict Cumberbatch or, Sebastian Stan, somebody that's played an iconic character for a while. This will be a brand new role. They could literally move into it with a younger actor, and I feel like that's probably what's going to happen.
One of my biggest questions was, if they end up having Blade as a, multiverse saga movie, or not multiverse saga, mutant saga movie, like if it ends up being the next movie there, how does he fit into that whole narrative? He doesn't. So it's the same sort of way Black Widow doesn't fit into the multiverse saga narrative. So it would just be the same sort of disjointed thing here.
Yeah.
I don't
know. I think that it would be very like, I don't want to get anybody's hopes up for this because I do love Mahershala and I would love to see him in this role. But I feel like there's just nothing there for him, and I don't think he's going to stick around for nothing. He's too big of an actor with too many opportunities to wait around for Marvel to throw him crumbs. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't feel like that's really where it's at. And also there's like, again, it seems like they're going to be going with cheaper actors because they can make cheaper movies that way. And unless Blade is going to be a prestige film where they're planning on spending a lot of money on just Mahershala and everybody else is cheap, I don't know.
I mean, when you look at how the original,
this should not be a $100 million movie.
No, I mean, when you look at how the original Blade movie was made, it was like what, 50, 60 million. It was low budget. It was done with an at the time C-list character.
Yeah,
and it was successful because not only it wasn't successful because of who Blade is. They just made a really well done movie. They made a really solid hit, and that got more people interested in it. It wasn't because people didn't go to that movie, aside from the diehard comic fans, they didn't go to that movie to see Blade. They didn't know who Blade was. They walked out of that movie liking it because it was a good movie.
Right. But the thing about it is there's no way to do that today because we've already established that this world exists and these characters exist and Blade already happened. The only way you could do that is if you created a movie with a character no one has heard of before, and that's not going to happen. That's going to be really difficult to do in Marvel, especially when they're not going to take as many risks as they did in the past. I don't think we're going to see risky projects with Marvel anymore. I think we're going to see X-Men. I think we're going to see Avengers. I think that's what we're going to get.
I still stand by the notion of like the Marvel specials is your experimental side. You can do stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and again, speaking of specials, this might be a hot take. If we see Mahershala Ali as Blade, I'll be there. If we don't, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. And if that gets pushed off and it gives Werewolf by Night another chance to come back and bring back both Bloodstone and Gael Garcia aspect to play him, I'm like, I'm in. I fucking love that special. I want more of that.
And I've been saying this for the longest time. I'm just like a broken record at this point. Give the rest of those Monster Squad, Howling Commandos people specials because you can make unique presentations out of that. Give them that same sort of monster-esque feeling like you gave Werewolf by Night, obviously, but it's going to have a little bit of a different tone to it. And make those like your Halloween releases, your Frankenstein's monster, your living mummy. That sort of stuff is that's that sort of fresh and unique take that a lot of people are asking for from Marvel that they don't realize they've gotten in other areas, but that would scratch that itch.
In the comics, is Blade like immortal? Like,
I mean, he lives a very long time because he's only half vampire, but
he's half vampire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All their strengths, none of their weaknesses.
Right. Yeah. I had another bookmark here that we're going to talk about. I guess we'll jump into the Variety article first, and then we'll talk about Peacemaker towards the end. But there's a Variety article that came out about Disney that a lot of people are talking about. So I wanted to discuss it here with you guys and just get your take on it as well. Before we do that, though, did Darren respond to you at all, Jake, or no?
He hasn't yet. No, it says
Okay.
he's still active on here, so we'll see.
All right. Something might have came up. It's fine.
Could have.
Let's see. Oh my gosh, how far down is it on my bookmarks? Why do I have so many bookmarks? This is always bad.
You might want to clean that up.
I could probably just search my bookmarks, but I'm already committed to scrolling, so that's what I'm going to do. I should be coming up on it here. Gina Carano stuff. That's from
Oh God.
like 3 weeks ago. Here it is. That's what I was looking for. All right.
You're a hoarder. Okay, I see.
Anyway, all right. So this article came out today. Yes, 7 a.m. today, and it was sent to me by like 20 people. And I was like, all right, so I guess we have to talk about this tonight. I want to preface this by saying there's a lot of people that are already trying to frame this as a bad thing. And after reading through the article, I don't think there's a lot of negative stuff here.
Darren said no, probably not.
Oh, okay. There's not a lot of negative stuff here that I can see in terms of what they're saying, but it's being framed negatively. So let's kind of go through it and just see what's said here from this article. So this is from Matt Donnelly. It says Disney's Boy Trouble studio seeks original IP to win back Gen Z men amid Marvel Lucasfilm struggles. Now, this part of the headline is really interesting to me because as I read through the article, it doesn't necessarily seem to be like this is the issue. The issue is more that they just don't have a lot of original IP anymore. It's all, they've purchased so much stuff. And so the problem is during the year, they have to get certain things out. And there's just not a lot of room for that because it's all stuffed with things this is the problem with having so much purchased IP, which is what Disney has. Disney has a lot of things that they purchase through Fox and other companies, Marvel, etc., that they just have access to, and they want to get their money back on it. And so they shove a lot of it out. And the problem is that doesn't leave a lot of room for other stuff, which is why you see things like Pixar, where Pixar original films don't get the kind of love you would normally get because they get shoved out either on Disney Plus or they get drowned out by sequels within the animated division that are from like movies and TV shows and stuff that have like a lot of nostalgia.
Yep,
That's kind of the problem.
You have people that clamor and say that they want the original films, but then they don't go support them.
Well, and to be fair, I don't think Disney does a great job of promoting original stuff.
No,
I think
no,
they drop
they
the ball
don't.
on that a lot.
No, they don't.
So here we go. It goes here. Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty aren't the only ones. By the way, I want to point out these kinds of articles, there's a lot of flavor text in it, right? This isn't just news. This is him kind of giving his opinion on this while he's doing this. So there's a lot of stuff like this right here where it's like he just wanted something funny to start the article with. Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty aren't the only ones looking for a prince. Leadership at Walt Disney Studios has been pressing Hollywood creatives in recent months. Multiple sources, which is why you have to sort of realize that this could be someone like Snyder, Jeff Snyder, or it could be someone else that's providing this. Tell Variety for movies that will bring young men back to the brand in a meaningful way. Young men is defined here by sources ages 13 to 28, aka Gen Z.
Am I a Gen Z then? I'm at 28, 29. I'm like, is that it?
I think you're on the top end of Gen Z, bottom end of whatever the other. What is it?
So
Gen
what's
Millennials?
30-ish?
I was gonna say I'm 30. What does that?
I'm
make
pretty
me?
sure that's millennial, right? Isn't that millennial?
Probably. Yeah.
I think.
I hope we aren't Karens.
No, you're not. First, every film studio is looking for better ways to convert young audiences into habitual moviegoers. Exactly. So, I mean, sources telling them this is like, we want more people to come to our movies. Yeah, like that's what they're dealing with right now, right? Numerous studies show that Gen Z men in particular are a lonely, game-obsessed group who are hampered in by their formative years by COVID-19 lockdowns, not the easiest segment to grasp. Now, immediately, I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there are upset about hearing COVID-19 lockdowns again. I don't think a lot of people fully understand what that did to culture. It really did change culture in a big way. Yeah. We will be talking about COVID-19 for the rest of our lives, and people after us will continue to talk about it.
Imagine the 5th anniversary. Imagine how much that shit's going to hit the fan.
I tell you, those high school history books are going to get real weird whenever they talk about that.
Some kids missed the graduation ceremonies, and that really broke my heart during that time. I'm like, God damn it, you didn't get the feeling of freedom when you
for almost 2 years they weren't able to do anything.
Yeah.
Not only did you have those kids that were missing graduation ceremonies, but also the ones that were, going through school and not exiting it yet, they were 2 years behind on social maturity. They had not interacted with their fellow peers for 2 years.
The kids being born at that time, the COVID kids now, they're gonna be called. It's just like that fucking breaks my heart. Just
Yeah.
But let me give you guys a little bit of anecdotal stuff from me. So like this also has affected socialization. So this age group would be not the 13-year-olds, obviously, but like the people in their 20s would be the largest group that we would have coming out to the nightclubs and things that I do for a living, where they spend money on entertainment and seeing live shows and karaoke and drinking and stuff. There's a big chunk of that group that doesn't go out at all. And if they do, it's like they'll go to dinner and they come home early because they just didn't learn, I guess, to, what word am I looking for? They don't socialize that way because it's just a different environment. Yes. Yeah. So they just don't totally understand how to react in that environment. And yes, so we're talking about a group that is sort of, I don't know. I think lonely comes across very
introverts,
negative. I would say introverted is the more correct way to put it.
Because that one just has a negative connotation to it.
Which is closed in. Yeah, yes, they were more closed in, and which again, a factors of how, as a world, specifically as a country, reacted to this pandemic, and how much nobody having a grasp or willing to deal with it as soon as possible really fucked over a generation, if you will, to an extent.
Yeah.
And
let's see. But what's surprising as producers, writers, and other partners in the larger industry is that Disney has been calling for original concepts to lure the demo back to moviegoers. You've been saying this now for probably 3 or 4 years that you need original stuff. Nothing is stopping you from doing that.
And you don't promote it.
No. Yeah, if anything, and again, I could, this might be my cynical side, even though I try not to be, but how many remakes of stuff that's already existed in terms of animation or stuff and follow-up sequels and spin-offs, how many of that already occurred between these past 5 years?
And a number of those things were not well received at box office. So, shouldn't that tell you something?
Look at this. This is a good example. And even Tarantino said it. Toy Story 4 and 5. I think we talked about it probably within the past hours or day.
Right.
I haven't seen 4 or 5. Now, is that because I hate Toy Story? No.
No one's seen 5.
I left off on such a high note in Toy Story 3 that I said, adios, partner. And that's the best feeling you can have because that's a lasting legacy. Now, there's stuff like Coco that I looked at and I'm like, all right, there's something else new. And you also have to realize that Disney for a while, it wasn't just, the theme parks and the main cartoons. At that time, back in the day, they owned Miramax. They owned, I think, Touchstone, if I could be wrong, but there was these other indie studios, subsidiaries to their main company that would be able to make R-rated movies or more indie type films that was still part of the Disney branch and whatnot. And I think this is almost a narrow way of looking at it because I'm in my late 20s.
Right.
I'm still a Disney fan. I would still like to go to the park and do all this stuff, but there's a lot of factors of the economy's fucked. I'm not making as much money as I wish I could. Yeah. Everything, if I do go and buy stuff, it's expensive for double the amount what it used to be. And it's just the ball is not in anybody's favor because somebody is still stacking up their wallets. Right. And it's just how do you expect us to go see Lilo and Stitch live action, even though I already own the animated film? And especially if you're going to charge me $25, $20 to go see it again. And not only does that hurt the connection we have with the characters, the franchise, the studio, and the company itself, but also hurts the people working on it because who knows if a lot of this stuff will be looked back on,
right,
and have a lasting legacy. That also breaks my heart. But it's just people they also don't realize that listen, I'm a Disney fan, but I'm not just into Disney.
Right.
I'm into 24. I'm into Neon. I'm into stuff that isn't Disney, and that's something that's I think sometimes hard for them to grasp on.
When we
basically the economy being fucked, not only is the economy fucked, the housing market is also fucked because you got these apartments and houses that are being bought up by big corpo left and right, who are then turning around and then making them rental only properties. So your market is screwed 10 ways over.
And then saying that it's not yes, the social levels have gone down, but sometimes us who don't go out anymore, it's not because of by design. Ask my relatives. I'm the most extroverted fucker in the family. I cannot stand being in the house the whole day. But guess what? As soon as I step outside my door, I know I hear the dollar sign. Cha-ching! I hear it because I know either if I want to get a fucking water or a bottle, it's gonna cost me $5 just to do that. And it's like I look at it now and like I want to go out as much as I can, but the world isn't in my favor.
Right.
It's almost cheaper for me to not go out.
But see, that's why this article is so annoying to me. 3W, do you have something you want to say? I'm sorry. I didn't mean
Yeah,
to
I was
Go ahead.
going to say like as you grow older, your interest kind of changes.
Yeah.
I used to like be a cartoon fan. Now I go to adult cartoons. Like it speaks to my age now.
Sorry, when
So
you say adult cartoons, my mind went somewhere else completely.
No, like
But yeah,
anime, basically.
Yeah, no, I understand. Look, that's just me. That's me being an asshole. I know what you meant.
But that's a good example because
Yeah.
I remember, again, talking about Disney and what they own. Kevin Smith was supposed to do a Howard the Duck animated series or movie, whatever may have you. That's owned by Disney. If you would have followed through with it, tried it out, because I hope they realize that the people who grew up with Toy Story 1 and 2 when they came on theaters, they actually grow up. So if you want to keep us in the family, maybe do stuff that isn't too familiar to what we used to experience as kids, but just as creative and just as juicy as those movies were. You can do, the more range you have, the more you can call out.
Sorry.
The more
Is that where your head was at?
No. It's just the lines right up. Adult animation. But look at and we're talking about just the movies and TVs. Look at the theme parks.
Yeah.
Look how much they cost now to go compared to when we were kids.
Oh, a friend of mine just looked the other day, not counting the room rental, right? This is no lie. I was standing next to them when they were doing this. They were going through like the Disney app where you can go through and pick all the stuff you want and everything.
Yep.
The room rental not included, just for all of the amenities and stuff that you need while you're staying there, it was $875. That was for 3 days.
That's
Minimum,
rent
I
in
would
some
say.
places.
Yeah.
That's rent in some places. Jeez.
Yeah.
That's a good 40-hour week with a bullet, and you can't touch a cent of that. And that just, if you could barely squeeze it, not throwing in that you might want to get a food, you might want to go buy a charger, you might want to go eat at downtown Disney, which
You might want to rent a movie online to watch, like something as simple as that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so
around there.
I think the other issue with this article, and this is why a lot of times, and who wrote this article again? I know I said his name earlier. Matt something. Was it Matt? Let's see here. Matt Donnelly or whatever. The issue with these articles is it sort of ignores everything else that's happening, because we're talking about like other things that are going on that affect us. Because even if Disney made a 10 out of 10 movie, perfect film that was great, it's not going to always reflect people going in and seeing the movie, because there's other things going on in people's lives. So I think that's a really important thing to remember.
Yes.
Also, I looked it up. Disney releases no less than 8 things a year in films, like in movie theaters, right? That's the low end. The high end is 12. So they can do 12, which means every month Disney has something coming out in theaters, sometimes more than once a month if some of those months are doubled up, right? So 8 movies a year on the low end, 12 on the high end. That doesn't leave a lot of room for things unless it's a surefire hit for them. So they're not going to greenlight something. And this is, I truly believe the reason why we get so much like movies from Disney on streaming is because there's nowhere for them to go in theaters. There's nowhere to put them out. They don't want to put a Pixar movie up against another thing that's going to be popular, because they're afraid that might take away from that other thing, or that the Pixar movie is going to fail because of that. So they're just like, just put it on streaming and people will sign up for streaming. Why not make it like, I know this really sucks and people don't like this, but why not make it a VOD streaming thing where for the first month, it costs like $15 to rent or something similar to like your normal early access stuff, just for a month, just to do that. So that way it gives it some sort of box office money to go on, because we've already seen that on the low end, VOD brings in 50 million. Can you imagine if the only way it was released on VOD, if that's the only way you could watch it, it would probably make 100 million on VOD at that point. So we did get some super chats though. Let me click those first before we continue reading. We have Cody here. Let me move this around a little bit. So Cody here says $10 super chat and a channel member. Thank you, Cody. You're always here supporting. You're amazing. I really appreciate you. A lot of people say that Gen Z, my generation, is split into two groups: pre and post pandemic. That's a good point. Post pandemic, early Gen Z went to college during the first orange term, and then later Gen Z went to college during COVID. That's true. That's true. So there is a portion, I think, in that early group that's just never going to be totally socially adapted the way some of the other group is, and that's just the reality of it.
Dude, I literally, fuck, man, I'll never forget it. March 2020. I'll never forget it. I was prepping to do my first play in school for college. I was prepping to do my first play, and then after those first 2 weeks, I'll never forget an email like, you know what, let's don't go to school. I'll keep you posted if we're gonna do stuff. And then a week or two went by. It's a month.
Yeah.
They're like, we're not gonna do the play anymore. And that was the last time I went to school in person. And the way, again, we've been saying it over and over again, but the way money is right now, it's not even worth it right now.
Yeah.
So I can clear off everything on my shoulders, then I can consider something like that again. But like,
Yeah. That
Right.
makes sense.
I mean, it just sucks with the fact that with the world we're living in now, it's like it's a twofold problem because if you pursue that sort of thing, you'll end up in more debt at the end of the day, which takes you X amount of time to pay off, and then all that time you bust your ass getting a degree, diploma, certification, whatever word you want to use for insert field here. A lot of the times that doesn't even really get you anywhere. It's like, okay,
Right.
yeah, you know how to do this, but what's your actual experience with it? And what I really hate is that they will inflate the credentials that you need to go into some of these fields, and then you'll occasionally run into people who won't even check whether or not you have those credentials.
Yeah.
So some people can just lie their way in there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That 100% happens at almost all the jobs. Like I know many jobs. I know we're kind of getting a little bit off topic here, but I just want to bring this up. Many jobs at the places that I work at, because I'm a gig worker, I have my own business and I work at multiple places, and I don't want to call anything out. Guys, this is me speaking. I'm not talking about if any of my friends that work in these businesses, I'm not talking about you. Okay. This is it's not you. If you think it's you, it's not. But there's a lot of businesses where places people go to like do wait staff stuff or things like that. And they put on, I've got 8 years experience waiting tables, and they get on staff and you can tell they don't have 8 years experience waiting tables. They just put it on there because no one's bothering to check anymore. And they probably went into like ChatGPT or, Gemini AI or something and said, make my application sound really good or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And put it in there. So,
and you have places that offer, or I don't mean to say this in a demeaning way, but that give jobs on like the lower end of that totem pole. And then you'll have someone that's going to be like, oh, hey, I want to wait tables. And they'll go, oh, I'm sorry, that takes like a year of experience, or that takes a doctoral.
that's it. Waiting tables should be an entry-level job for most places.
I'm obviously, being a little hyperbolic there.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this because this directly happened with a friend of mine. They wanted to go into either pet care or restaurant.
Right.
And, they got told whenever they applied, like, hey, waiter, waitress, server, whatever fancy PC term you want to use. They said that stuff used to be an entry-level position. By the way, it probably still should be because it's technically unskilled labor. No offense. Like I'm not trying to.
No. That's the way it's classified. You're right. It's not offensive. That's just the way it's classified. I know a lot of great waiters, but you're right.
Right. My point is, you don't need a college degree to do that.
Right.
And it's just a mess.
Yeah. Okay. With that being said, I think we've established that it's other factors affecting that.
We were getting lost in the weeds with that.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. No, I'm fluid with that. Anonymous here with the 199 super chat. Thank you for the support. I do appreciate it. Thoughts on the CEO of Target stepping down Target close? Oh, about them closing stores and stuff. I mean, it's just they made a dumb decision. They so quickly. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but you did ask about it, so I want to give my thoughts on it. You had people that are, when you're talking about big box stores, right? You only had a few of them that people would go to. Walmart was obviously the big one. Then you had Target, and then you had like the Kroger Plus, and all these places where I guess you could say like TJ Maxx's and places like that where people would go. You have these big box stores, and people chose where to shop because they had options. Online purchasing is so easy that people would choose to go to those places. Like I would choose to go to Target because I wanted to go get something, and Target wasn't a shitty place to work for. I had friends that worked there, and I thought it was good. They treated their employees good or whatever. And I was never a huge fan of Walmart, right? Walmart was just one of those places where I just did not like Walmart.
I used to work there. Soul draining.
Yeah, they Walmart has a big chunk of people working for them that have to be on government assistance because they don't pay them a living wage. So the vast majority of people, this is the truth. Unless you're in management, and I'm sure that you probably heard this before, Jake. Unless you're one of the people at the top end, if you're anyone below like the mid level of management, chances are you cannot live on that job. You have to get some sort of government assistance. They don't pay you enough.
You can get hit by a car and they don't pay you hazard pay.
You either get that or some sort of secondary job.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, well, like you have this situation. Well, tough shit. You didn't show up.
Yeah. So what happens with Target is they fucked around and found out. Basically, they said, we're going to get rid of all the programs that we do that help our employees from marginalized communities stay hired so they don't have to live up to the standard of all these other companies that basically don't want, black people, brown people, gay people, whatever, working for them. We're going to get rid of that. And we just think that's going to be okay with our customers, the people that are coming in and buying our products. And guess what? It wasn't. They were like, fuck you. I'm just going to order shit online. I'm never going to go to Target again. And this has been one of the most successful boycotts I think I've ever seen in my lifetime. For me, boycotts typically don't work. Like, I feel like boycotts don't work a lot. This has been one of the most successful ones. When you got the CEO leaving and stores closing, they fucked up. And they had it good because they were considered the bougie version of Walmart. And now it's like, now people are going back to Walmart because the Walmart company actually came out and supported diversity and all these other things. Like, I think it was the daughter or one of the sisters or something. I can't remember who it was, said something or donated money to like equality organizations, and people were like, well, I'm gonna go back to Walmart now. So now Target really fucked up. Like, they didn't even have to do it. Like, they changed. This is the crazy part, guys. This is the crazy part. They did it on their own. There was no one was pressuring them to do it. They just decided to do it.
They put a target on themselves.
I knew that was coming. With that being said, I think we should move on. Okay. So it says here, this is the same Disney whose multi-billion-dollar content engines, Marvel and Lucasfilm, have sated men of all ages over the almost 2 decades since the company acquired them. The sources said Disney had been seeking new IP and pitches such as splashy global adventures and treasure hunts. Hold on, let me scroll down here. As well as seasonal fare like films for the Halloween corridor. The calls come as Star Wars Machine struggles to produce any film project, and superhero genre sheds audience by the minute. This, I'm going to scroll down in a minute because I want to give him a chance to correct this or whatever. Again, this is not fully representing what the problem is. This is completely overlooking some of the issues we have here, right? So Star Wars is struggling because they don't want to put Star Wars movies out. That's the thing.
Not even just that, but like they have to, and it's weird because again, Star Wars is one of the ones that has the big, it's under the microscope
right.
The whole time. It's I hope they realized what a turbulent time they spent and how they went about putting out the sequel trilogy, Rogue One, and Solo. Even though, for the most part, I like those movies, I don't love them, but I like a couple of them a lot. To me, I've always said that this was a good thing of them, like, not releasing movies because it means they had the discipline to, like, no, we're not going to put out movies. When Mando Grogu comes out, that's going to be a big deal because it's been, 6-7 years since the movie came out. And that's almost as long as it took between Revenge of the Sith and Force Awakens. So that's 7 years of none of that. But they've put out TV shows in the meantime. And I've told this to Jake. I think I've told this to you, Eric, the other time. But I was just like, the goal of that Mando Grogu movie is that, like, if your grandma who hasn't been to the films since 2000, she should be able to go watch that and enjoy it and be like, oh, I like that Star Wars thing. And then us who have been following it since the get-go should be able to also enjoy it as well.
Right. And
then not putting out movies, it's just them being like, all right, we don't have to map out and put everything. We don't have to put that because we're under the Disney umbrella. We're like, let's just focus on making a good story and film, and then we will put it out. And especially in this day and age where we're getting stuff every fucking week. Like right now, we're a couple of us probably are covering 2 shows a week. I know I'm doing that right now.
I mean, taking a break from the movie circuit is, that's something that I think they've been kind of wise doing that with Star Wars. I think Marvel should have done that for a bit, honestly, because instead of actually building up, who your new stars were going to be after letting some of your old ones go, they kept releasing all of these new franchises instead of making the people that were introduced mid-saga into your new stars, and they kept just putting out new franchise. It's like the hot dog guy at a baseball game. You get a franchise,
right?
It's all of that, to where they just give a project, whether it's movie or show, to insert character here, and it's kind of been screwing them.
So I want to mention this. I think one of the things we have to look at with Marvel specifically is, and this is something that Netflix did that I think is what made the Marvel brand so successful on Netflix, is they were doing shows like traditional shows. Like they were getting their season, another season's around the corner. So you get invested in it because you knew that the show was continuing. The Marvel shows, you never knew if it was a one-off, like limited series, or if it was going to get a sequel, which is why I think Loki is so well received, because Loki actually got a season 2. Loki was actually a show that got 2 seasons, and the storyline began and concluded in those 2 seasons. Whereas a lot of these other shows, they're one-off shows and people didn't feel committed to them. Falcon and Winter Soldier, even though there's elements of that I think would have made a great 4th Captain America movie, the problem is these are movie stars and you're not going to get them locked in on TV shows like that. And a lot of people knew that, so they didn't want to tune in and watch it. They're just like, I will just watch the next movie and the movie will catch me up and I'm just going to ignore it. And they did this with a lot of their stuff. That's one of the big problems with the Marvel ones, with the Marvel shows. But I also want to talk about, I was looking here, somebody in the chat said Gen Z are people born between or starting at 1997. I think was the first year for Gen Z. So looking back, the reason why they're struggling with Star Wars and Gen Z is, let's take a look at what people in Gen Z would have actually been able to watch when they were old enough to comprehend anything that's Star Wars. So the sequel trilogy was 1999, 2002, 2005.
Yeah,
that means
prequel, not sequel.
Or prequel, yes, right. Sorry.
Prequel,
the prequel ones would have came out at the tail end of Gen Z's being old enough to even understand what they're watching on television. Like that wouldn't have been something a Gen Zer would have been watching right away, especially episode 1. They would have been 2 years old. So they wouldn't have been watching that. And if you look after that, there's a gap of time where they did some animated stuff like the Clone Wars, which that pretty much dominated the 2000s from 2003 to 2010.
And Rebels carried the early 2010s.
Right. So their Gen Z's biggest exposure to Star Wars would have been the Clone Wars. So if you want to bring Gen Z back in, this would be something that you would be focusing on. You'd be looking back at it and go, how can we continue something from that era in live action or an animated thing that will bring Gen Zers back in? Because all of the other than that, you'd be looking at the end of the prequel stuff, right? You'd be looking at that. You'd be saying, okay, so the prequel series might be something Gen Zers would have watched with their parents in the 2010s on DVD or whatever. But they would have been watching on TV the animated stuff, the Clone Wars stuff.
Right.
That's your sweet spot. They're nostalgia baiting people my age, right?
Well,
So we're talking.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
A lot of the stuff that's older now, they don't even like. They'll watch like a Cliff Notes or a Spark Notes version of it instead of seeing it in its entirety, and they'll be like, "Okay, I've seen all the important stuff. I don't actually need to give this older thing my full attention."
Right.
And then they go into the next thing half informed.
Yeah. I just feel like they're nostalgia baiting people my age, and that's the wrong thing to do. As much as I love the stuff they do, like Boba Fett is my generation. That would be people from my generation, right? That's the people that would like that. I think the reason why Mandalorian is so good is because Mandalorian was brand new and it didn't necessarily require Gen Zers or anybody really to know too much about the lore of Star Wars to watch it and have a good time with it.
I've always said that season 1 of
that
Mandalorian was the freshest thing they had done since Force Awakens. That gave new blood to the franchise. Right before or right after episode 9 dropped. That's what the most fucking fascinating thing of that mind of it. And I look at it now, and I've always said it that you can tell any story in the Star Wars franchise, any era, and you can hit every type of demographic of fans.
Right.
And as long as each one has quality, you'll hook someone up. For me, I was more of a Rebels fan first before I became a Clone Wars fan, which
Oh,
is
okay.
ironic.
Gotcha.
I got into Rebels and then I got into Clone Wars.
So you went backwards, basically. You went,
And in some regards, it was kind of cool because I was introduced to Rebels, and I didn't think I would care for another group that wasn't Han, Leia, or Luke. And then I met those guys, and then I'm like, "Who's this Ahsoka? Who's this Captain Rex? Who's this Hondo Onaka?" And I was like, "What the fuck?" I went back to Clone Wars, and that enhanced my experience with it. And some people, I love the Bad Batch. Some people haven't tuned into that yet. There's these one-shot stories, I call them, but like anthology series called Tales of.
Yeah.
Like there's plenty. The canvas is plenty open for you to do. Andor is very original trilogy, right a little bit in the middle of prequel era, and it's an espionage thriller. And I've always said that as long as it's quality, it'll hit a demographic. Look how much people rave about Andor.
Yeah.
Because you have more of those stories that are just building out more of the world, which is Andor's biggest strength, I'd say. And I'm even one of the guys that came out really liking Skeleton Crew because it did that same thing. It built out more of the world, gave you a new set of characters. It gave you, hey, this is Star Wars mixed with a little bit of Goonies, and that's a film I grew up watching on repeat. So that pitch alone was enough to be like, okay, that's interesting. And then they took that and they leaned into it, but also told a really compelling story out of it while building out, again, more of that world at the same time. You got that sense of familiarity, but something new.
Yeah, I've always said that, it's ironic for me because I've been a Star Wars fan since I was 5, and I, luckily got into the original trilogy first and then the prequels. That it's ironic that the Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi as a whole didn't work for me. There's parts I love about it, but it didn't work for me. But it's ironic that stuff like Skeleton Crew and Andor, I fucking loved, and they were my least anticipated stuff when they were announced. Yeah. And then as soon as those teasers dropped, I was just like, I'm in.
I feel like you and me are like two of the only people who love Andor,
dude. And again, I get it. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but I feel what's gonna be so cool about that show is that come 5 years or a few years, people are gonna finally give it a try and be like, okay,
Andor,
I can get into it. Yes.
I loved Andor. I love that show.
Love that a lot.
Sadly,
Tweetup does not like it. So
sadly, sometimes, even when I was loving it, it was scary how much stuff was like. I would look at my TV for Andor, and I would look at my TV at stuff that was happening, and I'm like, wait, that is too fucking similar. And again, that is the best and almost dangerous compliment I can give a creative person. That you wrote something that would be so echo throughout history, and yet it's relevant right now. It's I always said it. Andor is the X-Men 97 of Star Wars.
I'd say that, yeah.
And the X-Men 97 is the Andor to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, to Marvel Studios.
I like there's a right and a wrong way to try and pull that off.
And again, stuff like the Acolyte, I don't love it, but I had such low expectations for it that I was like, okay, there's some stuff I grasp more and I dig more, but it wasn't as a whole great. But look at all those things I just showed. There's the wannabe gangster show. There's the Lost Jedi. Right. There's the political thriller. There's the political thriller with Jedis in High Republic era. There's animation. The plethora. The canvas is so wide open in Star Wars that that's why when people say Star Wars dead, I'm like, no, it's not. It's just swinging stuff, and you got to keep up to see if stuff hits. I've seen stuff that hasn't out yet, like stuff like Maul Shadow Lord. I know people are gonna want to into, and I always said that I'm not gonna go into how much I feel about her stuff and what she's done. I respect her as a producer. But it would go a long way if Captain Kennedy showed up to the premiere for every single animated project, everything that she was involved, because that would say, listen, we are backing this thing. Visions. It's a whole other one that, I couldn't imagine how much.
I loved Visions, but nobody ever talked about it. I thought it was great.
Exactly. Imagine how much Vision is inspiring kids right now to draw.
Yeah, because everything was a different animation style. I loved it.
Yes.
Well, that's the good thing about how big this franchise and this universe really is that there's going to be something there that everybody can latch onto. Everybody's not going to latch onto everything, but they'll find something there. It's the same way that people say, people want to jump back and forth on the whole, Marvel's dead, Marvel's back argument. No, and not everything has to be to your liking for it to be successful. Just like how comic books ran before these movies became such a mainstream. People had their favorites that they latched on to. People had their things that they didn't resonate with as much, and they still kept going.
Want to give a shout out to all of our people in the chat who are getting. I just noticed that the ranking thing is. I keep forgetting to do this. Top 3 folks in both Reloaded and Debunks chat. Thank you guys so much for participating in the chat. If you're someone who is on the stream right now and you're playing a video game and you're listening to us in the background, take 1 second to go into the chat and drop an emoji. Just let us know you're there to hit engagement for us. To let us know that we are in the motherfucking algorithm. Just drop any emoji you'd like in the chat. Eggplants are welcome as well.
Hi, Rhea.
Hey, Rhea.
So is Rhea there?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Rhea? Rhea, hold on. Before we do this, I'm going to drop this in here now. Definitely join in to our Discord. Join into our Discord, and that way I can give you a watcher status, and you can come into the mod Discord section, and you can come in and join us. Like, not necessarily tonight. I'm not putting pressure on you tonight, but just in general, there's a link in there for the room. So go ahead and do that. So.
I got to meet her in person for the first time at Comic-Con. It was such a random surprise thing. I was like, holy shit.
Look at this. I got to give shout outs to people dropping emojis now. Look at this. Look, King dropping that.
Hey-o.
There we go.
Heyo.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for all the emojis there. If you're watching on the Reloaded channel, we are 2 out of 10 super chats, and I'm going to read off what our actual you did not miss Peacemaker. I haven't even talked about it yet. So, because Ronan hasn't seen it. So, yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. But a couple things. The Discord link is in there now. If you want to join Discord, just let me know what your Discord name is. If you don't use Discord, no pressure. I can send you a link on Twitter or something like that. But thank you so much for coming in. Good to see you. More emojis. Look, you guys are going crazy in the emojis. I love it. Showing love. Happy birthday, Mr. Anti-Idiotic. Thank you for joining us for your birthday. Yeah. Thank you for being here with us. You can be doing anything on your birthday and you're here hanging out with us, so I do appreciate it.
Happy anniversary of your conception.
Oh, goodness. All right.
No, I guess that would be wrong because conception is not quite that.
Music lover jumping in here saying, you guys are helping me keep my sanity while applying for jobs. The job market sucks, right? Yeah, it does. I'm sorry to hear that you even have to deal with that right now, but yeah, it does. A lot of my friends just start doing food delivery because they can't even get like regular jobs, so they're doing like DoorDash and stuff. Which, by the way, I got a friend who kills it on DoorDash. I told him the other day, I was like, "How are you doing on that?" Because they've been doing it for like 2 months. They're like, "I work 2 weeks a month, and I just work all the primetime hours, like breakfast, lunch, dinner, for the 5 days each week, and then I take a week off." And they're like, "I make enough money that I don't have to do anything else." And I'm like, "All right, good for you."
Nice.
That must
Keep at it, music lover.
That must be a lot of drop pants. Kidding.
Jay Bird with an emoji there. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. You're turning 21. Oh my gosh.
Blackjack, motherfucker.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's
You can drink now.
The prime time there. All right. So again, on the Reloaded channel, we are 2 out of 10 super chats tonight. It is Teal super chats. We got 1 hour, well, a little bit less than 1 hour now on that. If we make it, let me tell you guys what options we have tonight, because I didn't ask anybody tonight. These are all my own. I'm being very selfish this evening. So these are mine. So top 5 list. This is what we have. I think you guys are going to want a super chat to get one of these done, because these are all really good. So top 5, and this is sort of like Jake's. I was like, I'm going to give Jake a little credit here for this one. Top 5 80s movies without sequels. So movies from the 80s that never had a sequel, and they were not sequels. They were one-off movies from the 80s that we love. Top 5. The next top 5 is 90s comedy films. So specifically comedy movies from the 90s. Specifically. So 90 to 99 comedy movies. 90s is prime real estate for comedy. So there's a lot of great comedy movies in the 90s.
The only reason why I kept recommending the 80s is because we haven't ventured into that decade yet.
We haven't, and that's why I kind of did a little riff on it for you there. The next one is top 5 worst Arrowverse decisions.
Oliver Queen.
Oh. So this one is like things this one's a pretty broad category, because this is anything that you personally think was a bad decision. So there's a lot of stuff there, a lot of real estate to work with on the Arrowverse.
That could be its own goddamn stream.
Happy belated birthday, Ethan Abraham.
Happy birthday.
Oh yeah, happy birthday, Ethan. Columbia Rican says, I'm an 80s baby. I'm a 70s baby. So there you go. I got you beat there. And the last one is top 5 best Flash moments. So that's your personal
show.
show, the Flash TV show. So if we reach the goal tonight, those are all really great choices. I think we really hit the mark tonight because I came up with them and I'm the best. So you can definitely chime in there.
You're okay.
No shade to anybody else. But if you're on the Reloaded channel, that's how you do it. You donate there. If you're on the Debunks channel, we have a 5 super chat goal that is going to get you guys a bonus stream from me over there. And if we hit that, and it will also help my computer fund because my computer is dying. All right, let's see here. Let's go through these super chats. So Columbia Rican, New York here, $5 super. What were you saying?
The thing that Ghost brought up, that was fucking tragic.
I don't know what that is. What happened?
That broke my heart.
What happened?
Rock metal legend.
The former lead singer of Mastodon, he died in a motorcycle accident.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
R.I.P.
He wasn't fucking paying attention.
Yeah.
This just goes to show that some people have no business owning a vehicle or getting a license.
I don't know if Gilmore is trying to like hype me up a little bit, but thought I was a '90s kid. Okay, I'll take it. In my heart, I'm a '90s kid. That's one of my favorite decades. I've watched
because everything was extreme.
It was all extreme, pockets and pouches and guns everywhere. $5 super chat says, I've watched all Star Wars content, all movies, shows, and video games in timeline order. I love Andor, but Rebels will always be the best of Star Wars.
Yeah,
I always wondered how do you live through the disco 80s?
I was a baby. So I didn't have to live through it. Like technically I was born in the 70s, but all my memories really come from like the late 70s, early 80s.
You saw Saturday Night Fever at 5 years old.
No. I don't remember it, but I did see Star Wars in the theaters with my parents. So I was there for
the first Star Wars movie I saw in theaters was Phantom Menace when I was like 4.
The first one I remember is Empire Strikes Back, but the first one I actually saw was the OG.
Hold on. What year did Phantom Menace come out?
99.
Yeah, so I would have been 4. Okay.
So I saw the first Star Wars movie I saw was A New Hope. But
yeah,
it's so fucking weird.
Lone Wolf says my parents were born in the 70s. Oh gosh,
that was the first one I saw. Phantom Menace, the first one I saw in a theater.
First one I saw in theater was Attack of the Clones.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and like I just remember being like, okay, that chase in Coruscant is cool.
Yeah.
Why am I getting this funny feeling when I see Padme? And then
what's with all the damn sand?
Yeah, and then it was like the Yoda moment. I was like,
it gets in everywhere. It gets everywhere. All right, so Lone Wolf here. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. $2 super chat from Lone Wolf. Any chance we can review the list I sent last time? I don't remember where you sent it to. Is it on the Discord server? If it is, tell me which channel it's in, or you can send it to me directly. If you did already and I just don't remember where it is, just tell me where you sent it and we'll look at it. Naruto here with the $2 super chat chiming in. Peacemaker season 1 opening was better. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. It's a Twitter DM. Okay, Lone Wolf. Thanks. Season 1 opening was better. There we go.
I guess not as many people wanted to taste it this time.
Ooh, maybe not. And the last super chat for now is from Glimmercast herself with the $4 super chat. Happy Friday Eve with a little toast emoji. And I agree. You know what? I didn't drink anything tonight. That's probably why I'm a little bit more alert than I normally am because I didn't have anything to drink before we started.
Friday Eve. So do we have to leave out milk and cookies for Ice Cube?
Maybe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for all the super chats.
I don't know. He could probably use something stronger than milk and cookies after that War of the Worlds movie.
All right. 3Dub, it is after 1. Do you have to go or are you staying?
I'm staying.
Okay. Anyway, thank you guys for the super chats. I do appreciate it. And we're going to try and hit that goal. How much time do we have left here? We have 34 minutes and we're now 4 out of 10. See, I just have to remind people. I think people forget there's a timer. I forget there's a timer sometimes. Which, by the way, StreamYard fixed the super chat issue, it looks like.
Oh, there you go.
So $5 super chat from Cameron here. Thank you, Cameron. I came to realize that Gotham had no restrictions, and the only thing they couldn't say the Joker or Batman name, but on Batwoman had so many restrictions. Oh, you mean the TV show? Yeah. Yeah, because Fox had access to everything, and CW had to pay for everything. That's the reason why. Anytime they mentioned Superman on Supergirl, it cost them like a shitload of money before they had the rights to the TV show.
Apparently, they didn't have the rights to like show Gotham more than 5 seconds. Batman more than 5 seconds.
That's fucking weird.
On Gotham.
Oh yeah, specifically Batman, but everybody else but Batman and Joker were like
Right.
the one things that they had the rough time with or whatever. I'll be honest, and this is why it kind of confuses me with the whole DC thing. I think Batman would work better as a TV show, but that's just my
I
opinion.
really want a TV show
Superman,
about
in
me.
theory, would work better as a movie. but
Exactly.
But lately, we've seen the opposite effects happen,
Yeah.
where Superman has worked better on TV and Batman has worked better in movies.
Yeah, 100%.
They never tried since 1966. That's the bad thing.
Yeah, maybe I would be. You know what? Fuck it, James Gunn, do Gotham by Gaslight, Victorian era Batman, DC Elseworld in television. I fucking dare you.
All right, so let's continue here. Because while two insiders say the mandate to recruit young males goes as high as the C-suite, the task primarily has fallen on David Greenbaum, the former Searchlight Pictures co-head brought on 2024 to run Disney's live-action film business. That label has been sorely lacking in guy-leaning fare, like the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, for nearly 10 years. Studio insiders say the property is in active development, though not as its last reported iteration involving Margot Robbie. I mean, I didn't think this was a real thing anyway, but whatever. To say nothing of the lackluster attempt to reboot the Hand of Indiana Jones in 2023, if you're doing Gen Z, why are you doing Indiana Jones? That doesn't make any, like, if this was an attempt to get Gen Z, this was wrong. Indiana Jones is, again, my age demographic. Like, that's
I'm
not a
into
Gen
it,
Z thing.
and I know I'm a
Right.
minor in that regard. Besides, anyways.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure in my row when I went to go see Dollar, isn't it? Me and my relative were the youngest people in that row.
When we went to see it, it was literally people 20 years older than me there. That's what it was, pretty much.
Then that's
This
how I
is an
kinda-
outdated IP. This should be a TV series. Do an Indiana Jones TV series for old people and don't put it in theaters anymore.
Proper Uncharted show or movie. That's what you do if you want to
Yeah.
bring in that flavor. Do fucking Tomb Raider,
Yeah.
like when in show or in a movie or whatnot. That's how you do
That's
it.
exactly how I am with like Evil Dead. Like that, I'm granted that series is 10 years older than me, but when I went and saw Evil Dead Rise in theaters, I was probably like there was probably a split. Like I was one of the youngest people in there, and I was like 28 at the time, and out of all the people that would be in the range to go see that, that we're familiar with the older ones, a lot of people that age just really didn't go to movies anymore. So your audiences were already a little bit smaller. But, me and my one sibling, we were probably some of the youngest people there because just not that many, Gen Z people were familiar with the IP at all.
I want to point to this last sentence here because this I think is really important with these kinds of articles, and this is why it's kind of negligent to even make an article like this. A Disney source says that movies for Gen Z men are a part of an overall strategy across all labels, but no more important or urgent than any other quadrant.
I'm sorry. There's also Gen Z women. Why aren't they included?
That's what they are. That's the thing. This is what the Senate says. A Disney source says that movies for Gen Z men are a part of an overall strategy across all labels, but no more urgent than any other quadrant.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a quote. Oh, that's
It-
something you were
it-
writing an article. I wouldn't, but it's like, ugh.
It is a thing someone said.
That's why I'm like, okay, so it's just a general. They want everybody to watch their movies essentially, and all kinds of movies, not any specific thing, just everybody. Greenbaum recently hired Daria Sircik, the savvy former Paramount Pictures co-chief, to assist his effort. Greenbaum is beloved by his talent, but has largely existed in the prestige indie sphere, while Sircik shepherded film franchises like Sonic the Hedgehog, A Quiet Place, and Smile. Something to push for this demographic is simply Greenbaum trying to put his stamp on live action, yet numerous power players who spoke with Variety see something ominous in the tea. What is all this flavor text? Like, I don't...
That's word salad is what that is.
When the execution is correct, Disney's sweet spot at the movies has been millennials. That generation rapidly consumed classic vault titles like The Lion King, 101 Dalmatians, Lilo and Stitch as kids. Now they bring their children in droves to see live-action reboots. This year's billion-dollar grosser Lilo and Stitch over-indexed with men and boys, Disney previously said, but Gen Z is a different... But this is Gen Z right now. Like especially right here, boy. Like, you're talking about Gen Z if you're referring to boys. There's no other generation in the boys category right now except Gen Z. So if it over-indexed with men and let me highlight this for people that need to know, and boys, that would be Gen Z. Disney previously said Gen Z is a different story. This article is so poorly done. This is actually a trash article from Variety, to be quite honest. Built-in interest is not nearly as guaranteed for such audience with propelled Warner Brothers a Minecraft movie to nearly $1 billion haul. That was a game Gen Z played as very small kids, not to mention, well, these people still play it now. Not to mention the euphoric viral moments that created for young men filming key moments inside multiplexes for sharing on platforms like TikTok. Jesus, why did I read that? The Minions crap. As it stands, Disney is in line with Sony Pictures and Paramount in its market share for Gen Z, 10% of ticket buyers in 2024. That's 2 points above Universal and 2 points below Warner's. But Disney's not leaving the job of courting Gen Z entirely up to the film group. Concurrently to Greenbaum's hire, a corporation bought a $1.5 billion equity stake in gaming juggernaut Fortnite, which will incorporate Disney's iconic stable of characters. Two sources say that Disney does not, however, enjoy movie rights to Fortnite itself. Oh, because it can't use Fortnite. Got it. Which would be a no-brainer to lure in Gen Z to theaters. Okay, I'm going to be honest. I know Minecraft made sense. Would a Fortnite movie make any sense whatsoever? I don't see.
Nope. No. But it'll probably make money.
But also this article seems like it was written by somebody later than Gen Z.
You know what this tells me?
What?
You know what this tells me? Hey, y'all, just let you know, Disney likes money. They want to make more money. Have a good day. That's literally what it's telling me right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just
art. We want to like push the boundaries of animation and our storytelling. Say no, you know what? We like money. You get it, right? You like money. Well, we want to make more money.
Right.
So help us out and have a good one.
I guess they had like
they leave the money on the motherfucking table half the time.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess they had like an essay to do to like get the quota of characters, but they could just said Disney wanted money.
Yeah,
I'm not even fully like blaming the person who wrote this article. I'm not even doing that. It's just like this feels like it was a slow day for news.
Yeah,
it's a slow day for news. And like again, I look at all this stuff that they keep mentioning or not. My era of people, we got spoiled with stuff.
Yeah,
like Atlantis, the Lost Empire, Treasure Planet. You see all this stuff just pushing stuff all the way in terms of design and whatnot. That it wasn't just stuff. And then after that, then later on, people got Finding Nemo. They got Inside Out. They got Up. And I was like, okay, cool, Wall-E. And then after that, it seemed like the effort and push wasn't there for people who were trying to bring in more perspective points of views, which broke my heart for all those movies because by that time, either I wasn't feeling it or just it wasn't my cup of tea. But I wish those would have gone the push that the movies I grew up with or the movies that after my generation would have gotten at this point on. But then I also put that we live in the social media era where stuff is pulled apart before they even shoot a frame, even before the movie comes out, or after a teaser comes out, before or after set photos come out. It's just like.
That frame of time that you're talking about is when we were in a massive, sequel franchise era. Is that part of the early 2010s going in really majority of the 2010s is when you were getting things like Cars 2 and 3, the Monsters Inc. prequel, the long-awaited Incredibles 2, Finding Dory, things like that. It's like they weren't coming out with a lot of new stuff. And again, the stuff that they wasn't being supported. Like, Brave didn't really do that well. What the hell was the other one? The one with the dinosaur. What was it called?
The Good Dinosaur?
Yeah, that didn't do so well from what I understand. So that you see, it's the same exact thing people want. It's that fresh and new stuff. But no, they say they want one thing, but I forget what the quote is. But somebody's like, you can please some people sometimes, or you can please some people all the time, but you can never please everybody all the time.
Yeah, I think it was you can please all people some of the time, but not all of the not some of the people all the time. Is basically what the quote is. Yeah.
Point still stands regardless.
Yeah, no, you're right, 100%. I also want to point out that they talk about appealing to Gen Z, but if you look historically at the stuff Marvel did in Phase 4, that was largely Gen Z properties. And
they blasted it.
And they didn't support it. So it tells me that you're still trying to shoot for something that's just not there yet. And you're better off just kind of doing something that you're used to doing, but just doing it with much, like, again, let's finish the article, then I'm going to give my final thoughts on this, right? So it goes here, Disney CEO Bob Iger confirmed as much on an earnings call. We already talked about this. It's put out great movies. Walt Disney Studio declined to provide a comment for the story, probably because the story is pretty much trash. Much has been written about the narrowing audience for superhero movies. The performance of Marvel's latest release, Fantastic Four: First Steps, which aimed to launch yet another superhero franchise led by Pedro, failed to meet expectations. That's despite good reviews, a promising opening weekend, and the full attention of the Marvel czar, Kevin Feige. Star Wars has not produced a film in 7 years. You're ignoring the Mandalorian movie that's coming out next year, which we still don't know what that's going to look like. But I agree with this. I agree with this part. Star Wars has not produced a movie in 7 years. That's a big problem. That's a big problem.
I mean, it's not 7, first of all, but anyway.
Oh, really? What is the number on it again?
Rise of Skywalker was 2019.
Oh, okay. So he's off. He's adding an extra year on there. Well, I think he's counting the between now and Mandalorian, though. I think that's what he's counting.
Oh.
So that would be 7 years. So yeah,
Okay.
he's counting ahead.
Okay. You get a pass this time.
But yeah, that's a big problem. The Star Wars thing is definitely a big problem.
It shouldn't have been, though. Like that, both Star Wars and Marvel, it's like they're having to learn lessons that they shouldn't have had to learn.
Yeah.
It's like these are almost forced lessons, it seems. It's like these are not mistakes that you guys should have made. These are not things that you should need to be trying to course correct or bounce your way back from, but you did.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it like from the perspective of chronological order, it's been a 30-year gap between 6 and 7. So,
Yeah, we knew that 10 years ago.
I'm just saying, like, 7 years is nothing compared to that number.
Yeah.
It depends also because we have to take into consideration that between Revenge of the Sith and Force Awakens, it was just Clone Wars. That was it. There was no other shows, not as much being pumped out as much. It was just that one show. And maybe some games here and there. But like you look at it now between Rise of Skywalker to when Mandalorian come out, how many shows, how many novels, how many games, how many comics have been being pumped out?
I want to double check something here because I think this is really interesting. Right now, would you say that? Okay, so I'm judging it this way. I would look at like what the top movie studios are right now in 2025. That would help me determine where this article is coming from. Because if you're at number 1 or you're at the top, you can't go much higher than where you're at. Meaning that it's not a problem with the studio; it's a problem with the experience of going to movies. Because that's really what the argument's about, right? So right now, I'm looking at as of July 2025. Warner Brothers is the number 1 movie theater in the world right now. This year with 1.32 billion, citing Minecraft, Superman, and Sinners as their 3 big movies from this year. That's what it says in the article here. This is from Deadline. You know who number 2 is with only like a little bit less?
Marvel.
Disney. No, Disney. Disney is 1.28 billion. That's 1.28 billion versus Warner's 1.32 billion. So what is this article talking about? What are they saying here? Because this seems to me like they're trying to paint Disney as like this floundering fish out of water with no ocean in sight, no lake in sight, no stream in sight. And look, I'm all for like course correcting because I think there are some things they could do better. But when you're number 2 and you're only number 2 by a little bit, the issue isn't just your studio. It's just the industry as a whole at that point.
Number 2 is still number 2.
Yeah, we're talking about like 1.3 billion between both Warner Brothers and Disney.
Yeah, that's still outperforming every other one.
Yes. Yeah. They are well above everybody else. Universal and Paramount are under them, but it's not even close right now.
No, and honestly,
and then Sony. It's Universal, Paramount, and then Sony.
I wonder if they're trying to make their.
Joke.
I wonder if they're trying to make it like their narrative work by just focusing on Marvel specifically, saying that's failing and not overall Disney.
I think it's a combination of Marvel and Star Wars, only because those are the 2 biggest things that they have, and that's why they do that. But I want to point out, I wanted to look at this briefly before we move on. Actually, we got some super chats too as well. But this was the phases for Marvel. And phase 1 was 3.81 billion. Phase 2 was 5.27 billion. Then, of course, phase 3 was the most with 13.52 billion. Phase 4 did better than phase 1 and better than phase 2 with 5.71 billion and only one more movie than those two phases. And then phase 5 was 3.65 billion. However, they also didn't put movies out for an entire year. The only movie that came out that year was Deadpool and Wolverine. No other Marvel movies came out that year. So it did 3.65, which was almost as much as phase 1 with less films.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also, I mean, what, phases 1 and 5?
Yeah.
They had $1 billion movie each.
Yeah.
Whereas phase 3 had like 6.
Yeah, because phase 5 would have had at least one, maybe two more movies to come out if they wouldn't have taken a break to restructure.
Yeah.
So phase 4 did less than phase 3, but did better than phases 1 and 2.
I mean, granted, you had your things like your No Way Home, your Multiverse of Madness that really, were the big money generators for those phases.
Right, but the thing is, I'm not even like, for me that's irrelevant because it's all about just money, right? It's just about how much money they made. Like,
right, that's what I'm saying. Like, those were money generators. You had a $1 billion one and you had a $900 million one.
It's crazy that phase 4 made more than phase 1 and phase 2 like combined. Like,
not combined.
Not combined, but like the experimental phase basically.
Well, but
more.
That's why this theory that Marvel is dying is incorrect. Phase 4 was the beginning of a new phase of Marvel.
Yeah.
And it did better than phases 1 and 2. The reason why people think it's dying is because they're looking at it post Endgame and going, well, look, this phase made all this extra money. Endgame and Infinity War were the bulk of that money from that phase.
Yeah, and and look at it now, and the phase 1 and 2 is when they were just trying stuff, and they weren't even sure if this whole thing would work. No. Phase 4, it worked, and they wanted to make more money out of it. Mm-hmm. And now you can make the argument that like the quality may have dipped, but people did show up and still, went about to try it. It's just that it didn't deliver. Once people paid to go buy tickets as a whole, you could tell that there's been a drop of quality, which I think goes, and I've talked about it, that like it goes into why are they telling the story, and also should we be telling the story right after we finished a great and big bookend.
I mean, I will say it is impressive the fact that they went 13 years into their big franchise.
Yeah.
It took them 13 years to get a movie that went rotten.
Yeah.
Pretty damn impressive.
Well, they will forever be the most successful franchise of all time. I don't see any other franchise ever in history beating them in terms of like overall sales.
No.
The closest thing that could do it is maybe Star Wars, but they would have to start making movies again.
Right.
It says here, Cody goes, seems like another hit piece. It is. It was definitely a glorified hit piece. It wasn't as obvious from the outside, but once I was reading through it, I pretty much realized that that's what it was.
Plus, all those people saying Marvel is dead, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
They still go watch the movies.
They do. 100%. 100%. We are 3 out of 5 Super Chat goals on the Debunks channel. You guys are amazing. It is any level over on the Debunks channel, and that will give you guys a bonus stream from me this week. Well, no, not this week. Next week, we'll get a bonus stream. This week's almost over. You'll get a bonus stream from me next week for hitting the goal on the Debunks channel. Over on the Reloaded channel, we are now 5 out of 10. We are only halfway to our goal. We got 15 minutes left. I would love to do one of these options on the poll. We're not going to do that unless we hit that 10 Super Chat goal. So if you guys are wherever wanting to donate, we got 15 minutes to do so. We do have a Super Chat over here from, let's see, Space and Goats. Great name. $2 Super Chat says, I would love Old Republic content like Reven. And yeah, I think a lot of people, and then another Super Chat just showing support with $1. Thank you so much. Do appreciate it. I think Old Republic, I just want to chime in here. This is one I hear a lot of that people really want to see stuff from this era.
Culture as well.
So
because there's supposed to be like
a lot of people championing for things from like Force Awakens, Force Unleashed, like Star Wars. A lot of people are championing for that, and like I get it. Believe me, I do. I have so many. What's the word I'm looking for?
Mixed emotions.
reservations, I guess, about how that could work.
Yeah.
And the lightsabers back in the Old Republic were crazy, like powerful. Like
Yeah.
they were like completely off hinged.
Yeah. And we got another super chat from Space and Goats trying to hit that goal over there. I don't know how close we are now. We are still four out of 5 over there, so that's good. 4 out of 5 on debunks. We're probably going to hit it over there for the first. I don't think we've ever hit it over there before. That's really cool. Thank you so much. We have a super chat from Cody here. $5 contributed to Reloaded. Thank you, Cody. Certain people think if Doomsday doesn't hit, it's going to kill Marvel. No, it won't.
What? I mean, it's going to make money anyway.
It's like I don't see a reality where those movies are like, we can look ahead at Marvel and say, okay, there's some stuff that might not work, right? I don't see a reality where the Avengers movies fail like that.
Yeah, butts are going to get in seats, even
whether it's good whether it's good and it has a great story to tell. That's a whole other conversation.
Right.
But yeah, people are going to.
I mean, like you look at one like Age of Ultron now, which is often regarded as the weakest, still made $1.5 billion. So.
Yeah, we're going to get like 3 billions in a row. Like one Spider-Man, then Doomsday, and then Secret Wars. Those are all billion movies.
Yeah. So I don't see that there.
There's going to be at least one project in between those, I'd say.
Yeah. We got a member chat from Jose, 7 months. Thank you, Jose, for continuing to support the channel. Let's see who talk shit when we get Spider-Man Brand New Day box office numbers. That's another one that I think.
Yeah.
We talk about impossible to fail. I think Spider-Man and Avengers movies are kind of impossible to fail. And I would even say maybe Deadpool at this point. I think Deadpool movies are too impossible to fail.
Because on both of those points, on the Spider-Man side, even what people think is the weakest Spider-Man movie, which is, regarded by most as Amazing Spider-Man 2, it still made like $770 million.
Yeah.
Or not, yeah. But then on the Deadpool side of things, and I have the numbers for this, I can pull up if we need to, but every year that a Deadpool movie came out, at the time of its release, it was the highest earning R-rated movie of all time. Happened with Deadpool 1, happened with Deadpool 2, and it's still the case now with Deadpool and Wolverine.
For the first, I got to call this out though. For the first time ever on my Debunks channel, we hit the goal.
Woo!
So Reloaded guys, are we gonna let that happen? Are we gonna have the Debunks channel hit the goal and we're not hitting it? We're still 5 out of 10 over on Reloaded. It's Teal super chats over here. I can't believe that. But thank you, Debunks guys over there chatting, for hitting the goal. I do appreciate it. That means you're going to get a bonus stream from me next week on the Debunks channel. So I thank you guys so much for doing that. It means a lot. Is
that going to be a topics stream or just a bonus one?
It will be a bonus chill stream probably. So we will have topics, but it won't be like we normally, like we don't have any bonus topics tonight like we normally do. So that's why. Right. So Lone Wolf says I'm broke. Lone Wolf, it's not all on your shoulders. Okay. You're not the only one. I do appreciate you though. Hey, Cameron here with the $5 super chat. Eric, did you see that DC is creating a new villain for Wonder Woman called Matriarch in Wonder Woman's current comic book run? No, I didn't see that. Is there any like artwork for it or anything yet?
I didn't see it.
Matriarch? Let me look this up. Hold on. That sounds like let's see.
Okay, so I got light brand.
Let's see. Yeah. Oh my God. This character looks really fucking cool.
Can you pull it up?
Yeah, look at this.
Whoa.
Holy shit.
All right.
The queen.
I love this design. This is great.
I'm intrigued.
It's like they mixed like Sindel and Wonder Woman kind of.
She can win. She can win. I vote for her.
Wow. I'm kind of speechless. This is one of the coolest new designs I've seen in a long time. It's also giving kind of Emma Frost a little bit. Like, I think it's just the white hair. but I like this, and the sword and the colorful rings. I'm guessing they're gonna have some sort of relevance in the storyline. Maybe they're just cool jewelry. I don't know. Either way, that's really, really, really cool. Thank you for that. For bringing that up, Cameron. Columbia, Rican, New York, $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Knights of the Old Republic is canon, so it would be awesome. Wasn't there a rumor we were getting that at one point? I distinctly remember we were supposed to be getting something about.
Yeah,
There
The
was
game remake.
more than one rumor. Yeah.
Yeah, the remake was going to happen for the game, and then they canned it.
Sadly.
Oh wow, yeah. Staggervore coming through with some super chat donations. Thank you so much, Staggervore. $99.99, $199. Are we looking at non-Marvel and DC characters? Wait, what do you mean?
For what?
Yeah, what do you mean, Staggervore? Are
Uh,
we looking at non-Marvel and DC characters?
alcohol and strategy games don't mix well.
I'm not sure what you're talking about, Staggervore. Give me some sort of like indication, because I'm confused. Maybe I said something that was confusing. I don't know. Let me know what you mean by that. But thank you for the super chats. Columbia Rican, $2 super chat. Who will play Wonder Man or Wonder Woman now? No I was going to say we have a Wonder Man already. Who will play Wonder Woman now? No Gal Gadot, please. No, she's out. She's not.
Yeah, she's out.
She's definitely not coming back.
Adria Arjona.
That's what everybody's saying, right?
Those are action skills, but you know.
Hell, bring Adrian Padalecki back.
Yeah. Dalton, there's no list tonight for a couple reasons. One is I wasn't sure how long it was going to take us to get through that article. Number two, we were going to talk about Peacemaker, and I thought Darren was going to be here. And now that Darren's not here, I really don't want to do a list because Darren has made answers for list, and I'd hate to do one that he made answers for. So there we go. There's a lot of reasons.
But you guys have seen Peacemaker, right?
No.
Have you seen it? You
Yeah.
saw it, Ronan? Okay.
Yeah.
So Jake hasn't seen it. 3Dub, have you seen it?
No,
Okay.
I got spoiled.
Well, I'm not going to spoil the episode. I just want to talk about
Same.
one of the big things that happens in the intro to it.
I'll watch it eventually, but I just don't care.
No, that's fine. I just didn't want to. I don't want to spoil it for the chat, and I also don't want to spoil it for anybody on the stream.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I didn't even like season one, so I'll
Right,
get to
right.
it eventually. But
The ending of the episode is really spoilery, so I do not want to do anything with the end of the episode. But I will talk about the recap portion of the episode that kind of does some stuff for the DC universe, which is what we're going to talk about next.
Yeah. I was
And
just
then,
like,
yeah, Lone Wolf sent some stuff over that we're going to talk about as well. Here we go. Stagger for 490 super chat. I just got the stream. I thought we were scheduled for a list of non-Marvel and DC heroes. Well, originally that was going to be the plan, but Darren's not here, and we had an issue with I had to start the stream late, so that's why it's not happening. However, chances are Monday there's not going to be a lot of big news. So what I was going to do with Monday night, and you guys can tell me if you'd be down for this, or the chat can also chime in on this too. Monday night, I'm probably going to talk spoilers for Peacemaker. Like we'll talk about the episode spoilers, and the rest of it will be doing some of the lists that we have. I thought that would be kind of fun
I can
to
do
go
it.
through and knock out some of the stuff. So
Yeah.
I think that would be a lot of fun. So on
Also,
Monday we'll go through that.
Also, Columbia Rican, Rhea Ripley to play Wonder Woman. You have my vote for that as well.
Wait! You mentioned the name for Wonder Woman. I think she's one of the fan castings, right? The one that
Yes,
you mentioned. a
Adria
second
Arjona,
ago. Yeah.
I mean, can she act?
Adria? Oh, yeah.
No,
Andor?
no,
Better
not,
than Gal Gadot.
not Aria. I mean Rhea Ripley.
Rhea? I mean, listen, as long as
Yeah.
Diana can, make me be afraid of her, that she can kick my ass, and yet I got the hots for her.
I was waiting
All right.
for that.
I want to point.
Ronan, you're aware of this character called Black Canary, right?
And I'm aware that she is not the only female in DC. I am
Right,
aware of
yeah,
that,
yeah.
but she is a...
And I'm just saying, multiple
Right.
females in DC possess those qualities.
No, but I'm just saying that, I think, especially, and I've always said that, also even Katie O'Brien, I could see her as Diana. I love what Katie's done in her indie projects, and the fact that,
I agree.
she's built already, I'm like,
Yeah,
I
no,
buy it.
I don't think you need like a 6'3" woman to play Diana.
Yeah.
I don't think you need that.
You don't, but it wouldn't hurt. That's all I'm saying.
Right, but I mean, you're limiting your cast at that point. Like, go for somebody that has the right instinct for the role.
I'm not in charge. I say, surprise me, but those would be 3 in my drafts. That's all I'm saying.
So it looks like there's an issue with the super chat thing or whatever, but we're so close. We're like 2 away from 10 in the Reloaded channel or whatever. But Jose is coming through with a couple super chats. Staggervore here says, I thought we could judge it as a community. We will. Our Lone Wolf here. I thought we could judge it as a community. Yeah, we will do that, Lone Wolf, 100%. We are literally 1 super chat away from hitting the goal with 3 minutes left on the clock. It's crazy. I've never been sweating this hard to see if we're going to hit the goal or not, but we are really sweating the goal here. 1 teal super chat away from hitting the goal.
We're on the edge of our seats right now.
And Jose coming through with another teal super chat. One more, and we do it. So we'll see if anybody in the chat comes through. We'll see. I'm gonna give it a second.
What are your non-spoiler thoughts on Peacemaker, Eric?
Yeah, we can go ahead and talk about that. So,
we got another one.
Yeah, well, it's
Right,
teal,
right,
but
right,
yeah. But we're close. Anyway, let's see here. Let me go through and do this. Staggervore with another 99-cent super chat. You guys are gonna. It's at this point, I feel like Staggervore has already donated enough to reach that goal. Honestly, even though it's not rounding up on the thing like it's supposed to.
I really hope you didn't break into someone's house and steal the kid's piggy bank.
So if you guys want to see the confetti fall, we need 1 more teal super chat in 2 minutes. That's really what we're down to. 1 more teal super chat.
2 minutes to midnight.
Space and Goats with another 199 super chat. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Did we got the
Space and
confetti?
Goats. Did we get the confetti?
Yeah.
It's falling from the sky. If you're in the Reloaded chat now, you're getting the confetti. We hit both of our goals tonight. Both of our goals.
Well done.
You guys are incredible. Definitely, guys, give some emojis in the chat to show some love for everybody that donated tonight on both channels. Give us some good emojis. Show some love to everybody for doing it, for coming through. Staggervore, Lone Wolf, Jose doing it, Space and Goats dropping in, Columbia Rica dropping in, Cameron dropping in, Cody dropping in, Raya, is it Raya, Glimmercast?
Yeah.
Naruto, is it Ray or Raya? Which one is it? I get it right. Raya. Like Ray of Light. Anonymous coming through. You guys all came through. Thank you so much for doing that. I do appreciate it. And we do have the one final one here for the goal, which is from Jose, $5. Best awesome podcast ever. I know the in the known multiverse. Let's fucking go. That's what I'm talking about. Fuck Party Nation. I mean, never. And I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that at all. I didn't say. Well, you know why I'm saying that? Because Lance said he was going to be here tonight. So fuck Party Nation, because he said he was coming in and he's not here.
Better Party Nation than After Party.
So,
but yeah, Chivini, I agree with you. I also would be likened to Vaisa Gonzalez play Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've out of all the names I've seen thrown around, I can get behind that one.
Hold on, I need to look this up. I did see this news, but let me
Ronan,
double-check.
stop it! Stop it, Ronan. I wasn't even doing that. I wasn't.
There's some inside shit going on that I don't know about.
I love wording nowadays. I can get behind that. I wasn't doing that. I love the wording.
It's not even inside shit. It's just us being stupid 30-year-olds.
Yeah.
So I'm not too familiar with Trammell Tillman. I just looked it up just to see if there's anything that I remember him from. Severance. He was on Severance. That I do remember.
Oh yeah.
But that's it. Isn't this a like a rumor? Like it's not confirmed, right? Or has it been confirmed that he's going to be on Spider-Man? Brand New Day.
I think I remember this far. I could be wrong. I know probably either Vanity Fair or Deadline or one of those big outlets ran with it.
So he was also in. When does that Mission Impossible movie come out?
It came out already, wasn't it?
No.
He's in that apparently.
Final Reckoning.
So I just got to show that this is mad, Chris. Literally, you put in the hard work here. This is enough emojis for everybody. I think, to be honest.
And speaking of people that are in Spider-Man Brand New Day, isn't Florence Pugh said to be in there too?
That's another rumor.
Yeah. So it says Lone Wolf says that Trammell is confirmed. Okay. I don't think there's any character attached to him. I don't think so. Yelena being in Spider-Man 4 rumor. I think if Yelena's in there, it's not going to be like a full-on role. I think she'll just be there to sort of
basically
keep continuity going.
My guess for Trammell is maybe he's Tombstone.
That's actually a good guess, honestly. I didn't think about that. You're right. That would be good.
That's my speculation.
And Yelena's
calling
going to
it
be
here.
Black Widow.
If it happens.
I'm calling it. Yelena's going to be Black Widow.
Oh my god! All right, let's do this here. Hold on, somebody tagged me in this. Where's it at? Really? Did it must have gotten removed for
Hey,
copyright.
you know what? If
Hold
it's
on.
true, that means we get Florence Pugh in another Marvel movie, and I'll never complain about that.
Nope.
Hold on.
Hell, I remember. No, I've got people that can attest to this. I don't know if anybody remembers that Fighting with My Family movie that came out back in 2019, but that's when Florence Pugh she played the real life wrestler Paige.
Yeah, I remember her.
In a
Yeah.
life story film. That's the first thing I saw her in, and
Yeah.
just after watching that movie, I'm like,
Look,
she's gonna make it big one of these days, and here we are.
I'm saying people love her. I don't know why it's so controversial for her to be in stuff. It's really weird to me.
I called it all the way back then.
She killed Thunderbolts was great. She was great in that
Yeah.
movie. So I don't know why. Like, even if you don't think the movie was like 10 out of 10, she was great in the movie.
Did you guys
I
see,
just hope she
did you guys
doesn't
see
lose her.
did you guys see that We Live in Time movie with her and Andrew Garfield?
Yeah.
That was
Mm.
No, I haven't
really
seen it
good.
yet. No.
It's
I
really
just
good.
hope she doesn't lose the accent between like so. like,
Right. Okay, so we're going to talk about Peacemaker. We're coming up to the end of the stream. We're going to look at Lone Wolf's thing at the end because he did send me something. But I want to talk a little bit about Peacemaker. This is no spoilers. I'm not going to talk about the end of it. We're going to just generally talk about what we thought about the episode. And then on Monday, we'll talk all spoilers. It'll literally be a Peacemaker spoiler chat. But this is a spoiler from the intro, right, to the show, the recap or whatever. So two things they changed that I noticed, and maybe these are the only things that I noticed in the intro, or is that they changed it to Justice Gang. When she mentioned getting help, she mentioned Justice Gang instead of Justice League. And this was also changed, which is the end of the season, right? So
I
We
was
fucking-
flipping myself out. I was
we
like, what
fucking-
the fuck?
Who fucking called this? Like, we were calling this for months.
I
Yeah.
did.
yeah,
I actually like brought it up. Like I have a feeling they're going to retcon it.
And so, you know what? To be quite frank,
Wait,
right
wait,
now
is
for
that-
me, I'm not losing sleep over it.
Wait, is
Yeah.
I'm
that?
like,
Hold on.
that's yes.
It's the-
On the bottom picture, is that Millie over there on the right?
it is.
So here's
yeah,
the thing.
yeah.
Shit.
He
Okay.
said that he shot that with different plates, but that it's supposed to be implying that Millie Alcock, Supergirl, and David Cornswitz, Superman, and Eddie's Mr. Terrific were there as well.
Well, in that original shot where you see the DCEU one, so was Cyborg not in that original
No,
shot?
it was just
Oh.
Jason and Ezra.
I mean,
Yeah, this was after the Ray
for-
Fisher
for-
controversy.
for
So
actors wise, yes, but I mean, obviously Superman and Wonder Woman are there, but it's not them. I didn't. For some reason, I remember a Cyborg silhouette being in that original shot, but if he's not there, then fine.
yeah, so Cody says there's no Metamorpho. Yeah, I noticed that as well.
Well,
Yeah.
this is. I'm assuming this is before the events of Superman.
Yeah.
Oh, why? Wait, why would it be though? Because
Because season 1. The events of season 2 take place after Superman. This is
Right.
this is an event from season 1. Metamorpho doesn't get introduced to Clark and the rest of the team until the movie.
Right. That would
Right.
make sense.
but wouldn't Kara be off world at this point?
Not necessarily. We don't know how long she was gone when
Yeah.
we saw her in the movie.
She
could have
just
been gone
wanted
a
to get
weekend.
drunk and
Yeah.
she wanted the Red Sun to get drunk.
As of now, this type of continuity doesn't break stuff a lot. It's
Right,
retconning-
because this was actually the only thing that really tied it to the Snyderverse.
yeah. I mean, there was jokes
Yeah.
about Green Arrow and Batmite, which I remember hearing that. And I'm like, that doesn't sound too connected to the DCEU.
Yeah.
But now it
Right.
makes sense.
And
It sounds
then-
more like the DCU now.
Yeah.
That honestly,
And then there's stuff in Blue Beetle that mentions I think Batman, Superman, and the Flash. I think, but you don't actually see any of them.
Mhm.
Right.
That could be anybody.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
And the charm of the Peacemaker is that it's a little distant from the rest of the DC universe that it doesn't break the bank, in my opinion.
right.
I honestly wonder if they're going to basically redo all the disc and send out the new copy of the ending, basically to kind of erase the DCEU from existence.
I just ordered a copy of the Blu-ray of season 1, and I'm hoping it still keeps the old version because I'm like, that'd be cool.
Well, because it'll be gone on streaming.
Yeah.
That won't be there. So yeah, this was interesting. I saw this and immediately I was like, okay, they're just doing it. This is what they're doing. This is they're confirming that Peacemaker season 1 literally was just in the DCU, and we were gaslit the whole time that we thought it was in the DCEU. So this is it. This is how they're setting it up. So all of the stuff with the multiverse, with the pocket dimension, whatever, which I'm not going to spoil it, but none of that has anything to do with this because this is just the DCU. So that storyline, even though it is going to cover obviously other versions of characters, it is not going to, it's not going to be necessary for this. And to be quite honest, I think this makes the most sense, in my opinion. Right? Does it make sense to you guys?
It saves them time and energy to have to go back straight to the beginning and whatnot. And it's just like, why waste stuff that worked and just leave it hanging in the back? Like, the good example I was using, Viola Davis. Do you really want to fire Viola Davis just because the old regime didn't know how to handle this shit? Or do you want to keep her if she's still enthusiastic to play the character? I'm like, no.
Yeah, it would have been like the same thing with Zolo. It's, like his movie was so disconnected from all this. Do you really want to shaft him for playing this character?
And waste your opportunity. Yeah.
I love this comment. Reese here goes, this is very, I'm here. It's me. Deal with that Iron Man 2 energy.
Thank you so much for saying that, Reese, because this is not the first time it's ever happened. And I bet you $1 million it's not going to be the last time it's happened.
Right. No, I agree with that. Yeah.
Now I'm just wondering in that shot, it's like, where's Crypto? Did they leave him unsupervised?
And also, I'll just say this. Outside of this, I really dug episode 1. And there are Easter eggs to the DC universe. And there's stuff that, like, I was like, that's a deep, like, cut. And I was just giddy. I'm like, it's something that's so good when you giddy and you want to learn more about it. And then you go online and you do research. And then you watch stuff like Jenna's videos of, like, go read some comics and just find out, oh shit, there's more to this.
I just thought of something. So say they would have waited like a little bit later to do this. Momoa could have been in both of these shots.
Yeah.
As Lobo.
Yeah. Lone Wolf says, which one's the new one, the top or the bottom? Well, the top one is the Snyderverse. The bottom one is the Gunverse. So what that made you laugh a little bit there?
Yeah, because it's funny because one's like anti-gun.
Well, that's what I said. Is it the Peacemaker hates Snyderverse? That was one of the titles there.
Everybody in Snyderverse loves guns.
Yeah. So here, Columbia Rican with the $2 super chat. Thank you again for donating. Thank you so much. Peacemaker has become such the center of the DCU. I think it's only because it was the first thing that we really know was connected to the DCU.
Yeah. It is.
Crazy that out of all the milestone characters, he's had the biggest role.
Yeah, and again, like this still goes to I don't think he's the center of the DC universe, but I know what you're saying, Colombian Rican. But also, I like to say that this is the strength of what the DCU can do. Fucking Peacemaker, of all the characters they could have built up and like make him, in my opinion, somewhat relatable and be someone I would want to like learn more about. The fact that they didn't just go for the shiny toys that they've gone to for the past 4 decades, says a lot about like, no, we're gonna stick to our guns.
I was gonna say, stick to our James guns. Yeah,
and we're gonna go beyond Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman. The DC universe is beyond Gotham City. It's beyond Metropolis. It's beyond Themyscira or Paradise Island. Like that. This is what the universe can do. And the bottom part, again, this is my opinion, feels more Justice League Unlimited in comics than anything I've ever felt outside of the Arrowverse.
For me personally, I think they've already like succeeded where like DCEU failed. Like you had
100%.
Man of Steel and then Batman v Superman, where DCU has Superman and Supergirl.
We'll
see.
I just want to say this. I feel like for me, what we've seen here in what he's done with the DCU so far has me excited for what we're going to get next. I never felt that with the DCEU. I never really felt that. There were some individual projects that I was excited for, but I'm really excited for just whatever they're going to give us. Like just tell me what it is, and I will show up for it and give it a shot because I enjoy Peacemaker. I know, Jake, it wasn't your favorite thing. I enjoyed Peacemaker season 1. I had a fun time with Creature Commandos. My biggest criticism of Creature Commandos was it was too short. The episodes were too short.
That is like that and Guardians 1 are probably my 2 favorite comic book things Gunn has done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love the Suicide Squad. You know how much I feel about that movie. Like,
oh my god.
I know.
Getting another fucking message at 2:00 in the morning.
What?
Um,
Oh, I thought you were
I don't
talking about.
No.
But like again, I love what you said about that, Eric. That like the potential of the future is more brighter and energetic than it has been in a while for me. And not that I would stop seeing stuff in the past. I'm like, I would be happy to look up stuff in the past, but this is the building blocks. And again, the fact that like we have Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, Superman, Supergirl in the same fucking frame with Peacemaker.
Right.
Come on,
Right,
that shot is not made by committee.
And like just because like you might be excited for the stuff that's coming out now, doesn't mean you have to automatically completely disregard everything that happened in the past either. Because
This comment right here.
like right over there, I still own a majority of the films that came out within that
So do I.
12-year period. I still own a majority of them physically right there. I'm not even talking about
Exactly.
just streaming. Like I have physical copies of Man of Steel, BVS, Zack Snyder Justice
Yeah.
League, Wonder Woman,
Aquaman.
Shazam.
Yeah.
Hell, I fucking own the Flash. I'll go prove it if you want me to.
I even own Fan 4 Stick, and that's just because I am a fan of Marvel and not the fan of the movie. But I am
Oh
a
my
collector,
gosh.
so I have Fan 4 Stick. That's how like unbiased I am about.
But I also
buying.
love the point that Jake was making that like you can like both and still be excited. Like, okay, this is a regime that for better or for worse is going to build out a universe, and especially after Peacemaker, we're going to see how much this universe has juice and muscle to sustain itself outside of just being under the microscope of James Gunn. And
Not
again,
this
this
time,
is
Jeffrey, no.
and Peacemaker and Superman are completely different energies
Mm-hmm.
made by the same guy.
Yeah. I think what the DC universe has positive moving forward, and we're gonna have to see how long this energy keeps up, is that James Gunn isn't afraid to use obscure characters. That's kind of what he loves doing. So he doesn't have a problem with doing that. I think Marvel moving forward, we're gonna see less obscure characters.
I mean,
And I think that's the drawback for not having James Gunn around, honestly.
they used a handful of obscure characters in there. It's just they didn't have the same draw. Like whenever before these movies and shows came out, a lot of your general public, really, let's face it, all of your general public, aside from your diehard comic readers, they had no idea who Shang-Chi, Moon Knight, Werewolf by Night, all these kinds of people were. So it's not that they didn't take risks; people just didn't go and support them as much, even though things that ended up being their favorite franchises were risk movies. Guardians of the Galaxy.
I didn't mean previously though, Jake. That's how I wasn't talking about. I'm talking about moving forward in the Marvel universe.
I'm just saying, like things that people grew to love were the result of risk. So people,
Right.
They shouldn't act like, oh, like, well, this is a risk. This wasn't going to work. It's like the fucking Guardians were D-list, bottom of the barrel characters before Marvel took a chance on them. Particularly that lineup of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But what I'm saying here is that moving forward without James Gunn being attached to Marvel and them being more concerned about making money, I don't think we're going to see them take those risks again. Unfortunately, I think we're going to see more. Like, look, I'm happy we're getting the X-Men. I think that's great. Of course, I want to see the X-Men. I'm happy that we're going to get more Avenger stuff. I'm happy that we're going to get more Fantastic Four stuff, most likely. So I'm happy to see all these things. We're going to get more Spider-Man stuff. I'm happy about all that. But it sucks that all the experimental stuff they tried in Phase 4 got swept under the rug, and then they never did anything with it. And now chances are they're never going to do anything with it.
I will say, like, for me, like, recasting the X-Men is also a risk. It's a small risk, but it's still a risk.
Well, there's just, I'll be honest, there's no way they could keep the same people. I mean,
Well,
you'd be
yeah, I
employing
mean,
like
like,
40-year-old
honestly,
people, they're
but-
not going to do that.
There's people that are attached to the old X-Men that are going to be extremely upset that they're casting young people.
Yes, but the people attached to that are like in their 30s and 40s. That's not the market they're trying. That whole article explained that they're
McKellen and Stewart are in their 80s.
they're trying to get between 13 and 28-year-olds to come to movies anymore. They want 14-year-olds spending all their money to see their movies. 3Dub, don't you understand? You're in high school. You have to spend your money on Marvel movies. That's what they want. No extra lunches, no extra school supplies. You have to buy a ticket to a Marvel movie. That is what they want you to do. So they don't care about any of that stuff. 3Dub.
I was even talking about this to some buddies of mine the other night. There is one story I would love to see adapted, and I think like within this next little bit would be the perfect time to do it. They never will, but I would love to. Is anybody here familiar with a story called? So it was about 20. It was almost 20 years ago at this point, which is crazy.
Mhm.
It was a Doctor Doom and Doctor Strange story called Triumph and Torment. Is anybody familiar with that?
Is that the one where he goes to hell?
Where the two of them go to Mephisto's realm.
Yeah, I do remember that one. Yeah,
I would fucking love to see that adapted. It's never gonna happen. I would love to be wrong on that.
yeah.
But if you want to do a version of that, like I wouldn't even mind if they wanted to, because presumably the Dark Dimension is going to be the focus of the third movie.
Yeah.
If you want to do a version of that with Nightmare, I wouldn't even mind there.
Yeah.
And also to say the sentiment of like the possibilities of just like even D-list like characters. Jake, I'm not gonna, again, no spoilers, and Eric will know this. There's a character that storms off outside of a place through a door, and it just marched its way out of this location. And I'm like, who is that character? And I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, that's a deep cut character from DC Comics. And I was just like, I don't know what that character went through, but I'm interested to find out more of said character. And I'm just like, all right.
Yeah, I want to. We got a couple super chats to answer as well in reference to this, and I do want to give my brief thoughts on the episode without spoiling anything before we move on to the next thing. Cameron, I do see you got a $5 super chat unrelated to this. We will talk about that after we're done with this, so I didn't miss it. I see it right here in front of me. But the one thing that I'm looking forward to in the James Gunn universe is the fact that I think we're going to see, for lack of, I don't know how to put this, I hate to use this term, but I really don't know another way to put this, like a lot of comic book accuracy in characters. I think that's what we're looking forward to seeing with a lot of the main characters, because it feels like Superman is Superman. He's got the heart and soul of Superman. I feel like Green Lantern, Guy Gardner is very much him. I'm very curious to see how Hal and John are going to be on their show, if they're going to feel like they're comic book versions.
Some stuff I would think the majority of stuff, but some stuff but then again, some interpretations I'm eager to check out. But I know some stuff looks and feels a little different. Like I know Maxwell Lord looks and feels a little bit different. I know Vigilante feels a little different from what I know of the comic. But I'm open to that because that existed, and I still think they can go down that road. And I'm specifically thinking of a storyline I heard a while back about Alan Moore writing 1 or 2 issues of Vigilante. I'm like, they still do that.
I have high hopes. I'm hoping for the best.
That's one of the things that really hurt Peacemaker for me, was seeing what they did to Vigilante, because I love that character. And man,
unfortunately though, Jake, unless they would have picked a completely different character, he's probably one of the best parts of the first season in that role.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see Rowan's reaction to Arrow season 5 then.
I mean, hey, in the 5th season, that's the best Vigilante we got.
Yeah, I know. All right, let's do these super chats here. We got Cody coming in with a $2 super chat. James Gunn also said he's not afraid to recast. Yeah, I saw that. Like if a character gets aged out and they want to keep going with the character, he'll just recast him with someone else, I'm assuming. Or if an actor's not available, they'll just recast him with someone else. So I'm assuming he just wants to keep. I think he's thinking the continuity is more important than the keeping the character the same. So if like there's a storyline they're working on, like the Kang storyline, right, with the Jonathan Majors thing, and there's controversy around it, James Gunn would probably just recast Kang as someone else and then keep that story going with Kang. Which, to be quite honest, I think that's what they should have done anyway.
Write that one off as a variant.
Yeah, I felt like that was a no-brainer. We already saw at the end of the movie of no, spoilers for Quantumania here. At the end of the movie, there was like hundreds of thousands of different Kangs, and they all didn't look the same. I mean, I feel like they should have just done that instead of like tried to shy away from it, because I think that would have helped some of the world building. I mean, we're going to get Doom, and I think Doomsday is going to be fine. I think Secret Wars is going to be fine. But I do wish they would have kind of stuck their guns to the Kang storyline.
What would be funny is if they actually do one quick scene where they reuse that footage of all the Kangs, and Doom just appears in the center of it and just wipes them out.
You know what would be the ballsy thing to do? They will never do this, and I will, like, I don't know. like give somebody $200 if this happens.
Just a random. I'll just give people $200, whatever I got in my wallet, whatever's in my bank account.
It would be incredibly ballsy if within one of these two Avengers movies, if the tried and true version of Doom that we will eventually get down the line, if he enters that movie and then kills RDJ's version. That would never happen. But man,
you know how satisfying that would be for so many people if that did happen? That would be very satisfying for a lot of people.
I get it, to be honest. I get it. I get it.
Snyderverse with the 199 super chat asking the hard-hitting question here. Do you think Sergeant Rock will get traction? I don't think so anymore. I think that might not be even like something they're thinking about. It feels to me like, when's the last time they mentioned it? Like a month and a half ago, something like that, 2 months ago in an interview?
Yeah.
It's been a minute. I said, I feel very vindicated here. I wish Darren was here so I could say this to him because I know we went back and forth about this. I feel a little bit vindicated here because I said it's going to be really hard to make that movie work with the really quirky, weird GI robot that they had in Creature Commandos because I know they'd want to use that character. And I want to believe, I have absolutely no proof of this, but I believe in deep down in my comic book soul that the reason why they decided not to do this is because they couldn't make GI robot work in the Sergeant Rock movie, and that was a character they wanted to put in there. That's what I think, personally.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just want to see GI Robot in live action, like an actual
too.
built-in robot.
Yeah.
And like have Sean voice him. I'm like, because I love that moment in Creature Commandos. Just that World War II flashbacks. I was like,
they really did a good job with GI Robot.
Hell, I mean, Ronan knows this, but especially with what they showed, on that mural in Superman where you see all the heroes, I need to get my Wildcat fixed, man.
You want to see Wildcat? I want to see the Sandman, the Dodge Sandman.
The OG Sandman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
I am like the only one that I know that is a massive Ted Grant fan.
I love the Wildcat.
Columbia Rican here with the $2 super chat, chiming in again. Thank you again for your support. All you guys have been amazing tonight. Super chat love is coming through. I do appreciate it. What would you all think of a James Gunn Spider-Man?
It would be interesting to see that play out, but I feel like, much like Superman, I would hope that it was a little bit more simplified. But I think, again, I've said it, and I really, really, really like Superman. I didn't love it, but if you can make me care about a raccoon in a tree, you can make me care about this too. The thing is, he's one of the most popular characters, and it's just like, what new take can you bring to it?
I mean, it would be better than James Cameron's Spider-Man, even though that never got made. No, I saw the storyboards for that.
Yeah.
I'm eternally glad that never got made.
I think that James Gunn's Spider-Man would already start with a foot forward because it's Spider-Man. So right away, you've got a built-in fan base that's going to come out and support it. Then you got the James Gunn fans that are going to come out and support it. The only thing you might have is the Snyder people that are like, fuck James Gunn and fuck Spider-Man. Fuck, it's not Zack Snyder. It's not DC. You know what I mean?
I wonder if
right up James Gunn's alley.
What's that?
I'm surprised Gunn hasn't, tried to do anything with this yet. I think he would be a great fit for somebody like Animal Man.
Oh,
yeah,
that would be
surprised
fun.
He hasn't had to do anything with that character yet, but that just seems like someone that'd be right up his alley.
I wonder if he's
DC. They've been deathly afraid of doing things like that because they think that the whole breaking the fourth wall things that they will confuse people. Even though the Deadpool movies are huge,
right?
And She-Hulk exists.
They already did it. Yeah,
You can still do that and make it work.
He would probably use like you said, Malik. He'd probably use like a obscure Spider-Man villain, someone that we don't even think about.
Yeah, I was about to say, I wonder if he will pick something that we never ever even heard of and just randomly put him against Spider-Man.
Hypno Hustler.
That's why I've always said that, and Jake's almost probably tired of me saying this. I want them to adapt Grant Morrison's Animal Man. Thing is, keep him grounded, make it fascinating about a superhero who has a family, has bills to pay, has a weird dynamic with his powers, and then later on you can turn it to meta because eventually it does become meta. But don't start rushing into the meta as thus far. I'm like, make us grounded and care about this character, and then make it very cerebral and very existential crisis moment when he goes meta. Again, man, I will never forget it. There's a moment where Animal-Man gets severely injured, and I use the word severe in a specific way, and he has to use his powers to recuperate something that's hurt him, and it's the most grotesque, fascinating, and unique, fresh thing I had seen in comics. And it's a book from the 80s and 90s, and I'm like, I hope they do it.
Yeah, I remember.
You know what I'm talking about with the worms? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
All
I
right.
think I read a it was like a version of that they put out. I mean, obviously this was like a re-release, but I read a re-release of that they had in Barnes and Noble. I sat there for like an hour just reading the whole thing. I'm like,
what
fuck
the
happened?
fuck? Yeah.
All right, so couple of quick things. I want to give my thoughts on Peacemaker. Then we have a little article that Lone Wolf sent us that we're going to look at, and then we'll probably wrap it up for the night. But let's go ahead and give my thoughts on it. So I really enjoyed this first episode of Peacemaker. I think it's a really strong start to the season. I think what they're doing with the pocket dimension is extremely cool. It's emotional, surprisingly. There's a lot of very, very, very emotional stuff that happens in the episode. It's also, and I want to reiterate this, and you'll find out within the first 15 minutes, very not safe for work for anybody that's got... There's something that happens in the first 15 minutes where if you are squeamish about anything...
I already know it. Yeah.
You are immediately going to be like, what the fuck am I watching? That's going to definitely happen. 3-Dub will probably like it because, you know, he's into adult animation. But yeah, so we have that going on.
It's be like Gun Gone Wild.
Yeah. I think that they're establishing a really good season. I love that now, because of the retcon we just talked about, we don't have to think about that. It's literally in and out our ears. You know, it went in one ear, out the other. We know now that it's a DCU. That's it, right? And then everything else is just now dealing with this new world that we're in with all these new characters. So I really appreciate it. I think it's a really strong start to the season. I can't wait till Monday when we can talk spoilers because I have so much to say about the episode. But I'm going to wait. I'm going to give everybody a chance to actually watch the episode first. But I have so many theories about things now based on what we got in this first episode. And like you were saying, Ronan, so many Easter eggs and obscure characters that are just around and existing. And yes, there's stuff connecting directly to Superman in this first episode of Peacemaker. Some of it we've already seen in the teasers and the trailers, but there is other stuff that's in there that connects us together. So anyway, that's my thoughts. I really enjoyed the first episode.
And I disagree with James Gunn of like, let me disagree with him, but like I'm like no, James, and I brought it up like we don't have to lean into that angle. That's the point of what we're doing with DC. Where you're saying you're gonna do with DC Studios, you don't need to have seen Superman in order to get this because it's completely different vibe.
Yeah.
So you don't need to rely on Superman, but if you have seen it, it just enhances the experience, especially with the one of the first opening scenes, which you know what I'm talking about, Eric. But like those dynamics and. That's the point of it. Like, and almost again, if you had never seen Superman, that's a great introduction to those characters. And then it tricks you. Like, why are set people called heroes, and why are And so it's just like it's a fascinating dynamic. And yeah, man, I did not expect to see the emotional way they would go, and I was just like, I'm in, baby. I'm like, this is
Lone Wolf, get ready. If you haven't watched the episode yet, that's all I'm going to say.
Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga. That's all I'm going to say about that.
All right. So we have a super chat here from Troy, the Cream McClure with the $5 super chat. I'm just going to, great name.
The fucking Mario picture makes it better.
Yeah. I'd be 100% down with RDJ getting taken out by the real Vic. Feels like we are wasting Doom yet again. I'm sick of my boy being shafted and jobbed out. The jobber reference. So is this wrestling?
I mean, like, I'm not, no disrespect to Julian McMahon, but his character was probably the worst part about those Fantastic Four movies. They did not know how to write Dr. Doom.
I'll be honest. I was not happy about this when they revealed it. I saw it and I was like, okay, it's just
the RDJ thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a gimmick.
I saw that and I'm like, this is their way of like making sure the movie makes $1 billion because it will. RDJ will make $1 billion for them.
Well, what I'm wondering is, say they were going to go this whole multiversal route still, but say your RDJ wasn't Doom.
Right.
What I'm wondering is, would solely so say the biggest thing that we had, for this movie was not, RDJ coming in and returning to be Doom.
Right.
Say the big pull we had was that we were getting the Fox X-Men for one last hurrah, and that was the biggest pull.
Mm-hmm.
That would probably still be enough to cross this into the billion on its own. I
think so, but they're thinking, okay, so they were probably sitting around a table and they're like, we want to make $1 billion on both these movies. What is the one thing that we know will bring people back in? Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Right? That's what they said. That's a guarantee. That's literally like if you're trying to get money from investors or people to give you some sort of, any kind of anything at all to do with this movie to make you like get invested in it. It would be something like RDJ, because RDJ has a proven track record. If you look at his Marvel history, everything that he did after his first 2 movies were essentially hits. All of them were. Yeah. Every single thing he was in. So it's really hard for it to be anything else. Plus, I think the weird thing is telling us that he was Doom before seeing it in the movies. And I said this to Paigey when we talked about it when we first saw the casting, last year. How much more excitement would you have as a going to the film if you didn't know that RDJ was in it, and then the mask comes off and it's RDJ? Then I would have been like, this is a brilliant idea. They tried something different. This is a really cool take. They're trying to give us some sort of emotional connection to this version of Doom. We find out at the end of Doomsday that he is actually wearing Tony's face, however you want to put it, going into Secret Wars. I think then it would have been a creative decision that I think made a difference. Telling us it's Robert Downey Jr. before the movie comes out tells me that it's a marketing gimmick.
Right. And also before, and I've said this is one of the biggest things that I feel like is going to lead to the character not making as big of an impact as he could. Until Fantastic Four, there was nothing in the movies to suggest that anything related to Doom was coming. Whereas, like in phases 1 through 3, you got you got bits of Thanos here and there, and you knew that that's the big thing it was leading to. You did not see anything related to Doom until the movie before he appears.
Let me tell you, Doom is very similar to Spider-Man and Deadpool. Let me explain what I mean by that. Doing the iconic old school Doom with the mask and the cloak and everything is extremely marketable. That is a image that you can market in everything, and it works in everything. It just does, right? Yeah. So to me, leading into the movie, leading into Doomsday, we're going to see marketing like we haven't seen in 8-9 years from Marvel, probably.
Since Endgame, probably.
Yeah, I would say that's probably right. Because they want this movie to do well. They have Robert Downey Jr. to go on the red carpet. He is their darling. Robert Downey Jr. is the Marvel darling. I know they try to say everybody is. I think Chris Evans is obviously really good. Chris Hemsworth, good, but look what happened, with Thor: Love and Thunder, even though it made money, wasn't a great movie. Robert Downey Jr. is their golden goose. He's the guy that does this for them, right? You could put him in anything. You could stick him in a Spider-Man movie. If you put Robert Downey Jr. in Thunderbolts, if his Iron Man would have been in Thunderbolts, that movie would have made double what it made at the box office. That's just the reality of it.
He was already in Tropical Thunder.
He and Tom Holland are like that have been able to make consistent billions.
Yeah, I think what Marvel forgot with a lot of their movies is all it takes is the right person to be in the film, and that's it. Like, you can throw anyone. Like, I still stand by the fact that Captain America 4, if you would have had both Sam and Bucky together in a buddy cop movie, that would have been a $600-700 million film for them.
Sam, Bucky, and also, I think they really kind of shafted Carl Lumbly in that movie too.
They could have. Yeah, they could have done more with them.
But also, what I hope we are done with now is this era of, especially in phase 4, where they keep, teeing up all these post-credit scenes that led absolutely nowhere.
I mean, that's my complaint about pretty much all of those phases, was that nothing ever led to anything.
It's like they're opening up like 10 different plot threads. It's like, here's, Harry Styles as Thanos' brother. Here's Hercules. Here's the voice of Blade talking to Black Knight. Are we going to do anything with any of this? Probably not. Yeah.
Shang-Chi should have been... So, like, the one thing you look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe, everything, like, post-phase 1, you never knew how those characters would end up with each other, right? Maybe they'll be in a movie together. Maybe we'll see them in something else. Captain America Civil War is a good example of this, where they all kind of were in the movie together and stuff. Shang-Chi should have been in like 2 or 3 things after we saw his movie.
Yeah, and with those other movies, the post-credit scene that you saw, if the character was teased in there, they were often in the next movie. Case in point, Captain America and Winter Soldier teases Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. Next movie, they appear in Age of Ultron. You see, Civil War set the stage for Black Panther and Spider-Man. They are 2 of the next movies that come out within the next year and a half. Instead
of putting Wong and everything, throw Shang-Chi a bone, throw Doctor Strange a bone, throw these other characters a bone that you weren't doing much with. You know what I mean? Like, that's the reality of it.
I love Multiverse of Madness, but you would have think that for something called the Multiverse Saga, somebody like Strange would have had a bigger role.
Yeah. I mean, you could argue there's a lot of things they did. Look, I don't think that people hate superhero media as a whole. I think they hate the fact that things they love come out and then they forgot about them. I don't know what was going on, but we talked about it like 2 weeks ago. They introduced 40 new characters between phase 4 and 5 over 2 phases, and most of them only had one thing they were in. Mm-hmm. That's a problem.
And a large number of them aren't going to be remaining after everything's said and done.
That's what I mean when I said that I feel like it's a sad thing to know that they're not coming back. We're not going to see them again.
What did I tell you, Jake? Remember when I told you what they should have done? Even at movies that I wasn't too crazy about, and movies that I don't like, and I know that if they would have put this, people only would have talked about just the post-credit scene, which is the tragedy where we're at in society. But like something as simple as a post-credit scene of like Shang-Chi going to go get food, and then someone right behind him, and he just sneaks. He's about to throw a kung fu move, and it's just like Sam,
right?
Easy. He's like
that would have been
Why not have him show up in Captain America 4
and just be like, hey, I need to talk to you about something.
Well, considering the trailers made it to where it seemed like rebuilding the Avengers was going to be a big point in that movie, and it wasn't at all.
Honestly, if you're not going to do the buddy cop thing that they did in Falcon and Winter Soldier, it should have been rebuilding the Avengers.
Right, it should have been rebuilding the Avengers and not Incredible Hulk 2.
We talked about it. It should have been Sam not dealing with, should I still be Captain America? Am I worthy of the show? Like, no,
you already did that. The show already did that.
No, I'm going to make it even better. I'm going to paint you guys a better picture. Go ahead, Ronan, first. I'm going to paint you a better picture.
Well, I was going to say that you can still sprinkle that here and there, but it's more like, okay, I'm Captain America and I stand by it. And I'm going to make Steve, I'm going to make Isaiah, I'm going to make everybody proud. But now I'm like, but then you bring in these characters like Joaquin, and you can bring in Sean and be like, these people are looking to me as a leader. Am I worthy to be a leader? Am I ready to lead the Avengers? And you just have this. You don't have to tease them being a team, but just have, after seeing at a bench, him contemplating what's what, just have Joaquin and Shang-Chi just show up and be like, I told you guys to leave me alone. They're like, yeah, we will.
Yeah, that could be a different lesson for like each of those stories. Like him accepting himself as Captain America in one, and then him coming into a leader in another one. Those can be 2 separate lessons.
And show him that like Shang-Chi, if Shang-Chi would show up and be like, hey man, I know what I'm doing. But we're put in this position, and it's too big of a thing to turn away, especially for this world and for everybody that is looking up to us and is relying on us. Yeah, and saying, listen, we'll just take it step by step, and and even like not even throw a jab, but like, listen, the Avengers saved New York and the world, but it didn't come without a cost. Look how much damage New York went through, and they just say something like, yeah, we're gonna fall, we're gonna mess up, but we get back up. That's the job. You get back up.
They haven't showed the fallout from that as much as they should have.
Well, let me put it this way. This would have been my pitch for Captain America 4 if we're not doing the Serpent Society thing, which they completely ended up trashing anyway. Right. Outside of Falcon and Winter Soldier, what should have been the storyline for Captain America 4? Again, not using Serpent Society. Rebuilding the Avengers, right? So that could have been the whole thing they were doing. And think about how this would have looked opposite Thunderbolts. Now that we know the Thunderbolts are the new Avengers, the government Avengers, right? Imagine what this would have looked like opposite that. I think it would have been incredible, right? So you have Sam Wilson finding out that the Red Hulk is a thing, and this is the Red Hulk. So this is someone that Sam and Falcon, the new Falcon, have no ability to fight theoretically. Like we saw in the movie, he's lucky that things went the way they did because it was just a battle that he couldn't win, right? Could you imagine if he found out about that in the first act of the movie, right? He finds out in the first act, and he has to go around collecting people to help him fight Red Hulk at the end, and we get to see him be a leader as Captain America, which is what the movie was trying to establish anyway, right? We get to see him being the leader, because we don't expect Sam's Falcon to be able to fight Red Hulk by himself. It just, even as an underdog story, it wasn't satisfying for a lot of people, right? Because of the way it ended.
No,
imagine
it set it up to where Sam had something to prove in that
Right.
movie, even though the whole point of the show where he became Captain America was that he didn't have to do this alone.
Well, it's not even that. It's even better than that, right? Why did Steve pick Sam to be Captain America? Think about this for a second. Why did he pick Sam? It isn't because Sam has superpowers. He's not a super soldier. It isn't because, right, he's not the greatest fighter. He's a good fighter. He's not the greatest fighter. We've got a lot of Marvel fighters that are better than him. It's the qualities of him as someone that can take over for Steve at the core. Like, because Steve, we saw this in the first movie, he was Captain America because he was willing to jump on a grenade and do whatever it takes, even when he did not have powers, right?
Yeah.
So
they
it was
say the ideology there. They say not
Right.
the perfect soldier, but a good man. That's why
Right.
Bucky didn't get it. Bucky's
Exactly.
a perfect soldier. Sam is a good man.
Bingo. Bucky is the physical Captain America. Like, he could do everything that Steve could do physically. Like, he could do all of that stuff. He could wear the suit and run around and do all the things Steve could do. But that's not who Captain America is. That's not what makes Captain America, which is why people that say that don't truly get it. Sam was picked because Steve believed that he had the ability to lead the Avengers. That is why Sam was selected, because he thought Sam could do the job. He felt Sam could do the job. He believed in Sam. He could have given that shield to anybody, but he picked Sam, and he picked him for that reason. So putting Sam in a movie where he's supposed to be established as the leader of the Avengers, the best way to show that he was the person that was supposed to be picked by Steve, he was the right choice, would be to show him creating the Avengers. That would have been the proper way to do it, because that would have been the perfect beginning to that new storyline, right? He could have went around, there's a couple names he could have collected in the movie to help him fight Red Hulk. He only needs 2 or 3. He's got Falcon already, so it's him and Falcon. A couple more people with some abilities that would help him fight Red Hulk would have been good. Shang-Chi is number 1 on my list. Like, that would have been the first one. He could have gone and gotten Shang-Chi to help with them. Obviously, you have Doctor Strange as an option, which might have been a little bit broken for Red Hulk. Maybe that would have been too much for Red Hulk, but
I would argue just Bucky and Isaiah would have been enough.
true. But Bucky ends up being on the new event, the Thunderbolt.
But I mean,
So
like, you see him in that movie. Is what
yeah,
we're getting at.
Isaiah's a great choice though. Isaiah, another super soldier, great choice.
Because they set it up perfectly. You know, like Sam's losing, the shield's on the ground. They
Yeah.
set up the here comes the cavalry moment so perfectly,
But-
and
but-
they don't do anything with it.
Like, there's other characters left on the cutting room floor. You got Ms. Marvel, never selected, but she's brought up in Daredevil, never even thought about. Moon Knight, we know that happened. It was fucking in the sky around the world. Nobody's looking for Moon Knight to find out what the fuck that was. Obviously, She-Hulk, they could have brought her back in. Like, she would have been a great choice if they would have brought her in and had her help out with that. Shang-Chi, Wong. Like, there's a lot of options of characters. America Chavez, there's a lot of characters out there that could have been brought in, that could have shown him rebuilding the Avengers, which is the reason why he was given the fucking shield in the first place. So I don't know why it was so difficult for them to make that movie happen when it literally writes itself. It literally writes itself. If you're not going to do the Serpent Society thing, which I actually think that would have been fine, because it would have had Isaiah in it. It would have been the new Joaquin as Falcon. It would have been Sam. They would have had some other people helping with them. Serpent Society is something that Sam could deal with. That makes sense to me. Red Hulk, even though I'm okay with the way it happened, it's not my favorite. I think the third act was kind of a mess, but they tried to stick the landing on that. No pun intended. They tried to stick the landing on it. It's very clear that he was never capable of actually fighting the Red Hulk. And they're like, well, let's give him a moment where we can show that he's Captain America by talking him down. Great, wonderful. But you could have done that with him collecting the Avengers and shown that he was a leader at the same time. Instead, it was him versus Hulk by himself, which is the exact opposite of the energy they were trying to bring to his Captain America at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is he wanted people to rally behind him. Why is that so difficult for them to understand?
Because instead of using that movie to, build the Avengers and actually set your new team on a course, instead you get a duct taped together plot and a reshot movie, and you have 2 scenes. Not even joking. You have Harrison Ford's Ross going, Sam, I want you to help me rebrand the Avengers. One thing happens. All right, Sam, you're out.
Right.
You can tell that's duct duct taped together through reshoots, because why would you structure your movie that way?
Yep, it doesn't make sense. That third act was completely redone, and they had to redo things to lead to that third act.
I'm not even talking about the third act. That's the second act.
No, but yeah, but they had to change that to fix the third act or to make the third act work. So that was all done after the fact. It's like
what I'm wondering if because that's the movie we got. Which, granted, I didn't hate it, but I liked it. I didn't love it. I wanted to like it more than I did. But if that's the movie we got through corrective reshoots, what exactly were they trying to fix?
So I can tell you what they were trying to fix. They were trying to get rid of the Sabra character because of all the drama around the Israeli military. Yeah, they wanted to get that character gone. They also wanted to create a bigger action piece for the end of the movie because I can tell you what the movie was. I'm very confident that I know how the movie was supposed to go. So in the first act, Harrison Ford's character was supposed to be killed off, and it was going to be a espionage thing around who did it. The Serpent Society was going to be behind the whole thing with the leader being in charge of it, and then it was going to lead up to them facing off against Serpent Society at the funeral for the president. That was what the third act was supposed to be. Instead, we get a lot of stuff shuffled around in that second act to make the third act work, and it seems very messy and disjointed. And then we get a rush CGI finale with the Red Hulk, which, by the way, the Red Hulk looked fine. I thought it looked really good. The battle, I think, was okay, but it was all rushed because they had to create that scene. They were never going to do Red Hulk. I don't think that was ever in the cards from the beginning. I think that was something they decided at the end.
By that point, there was no depth. There was no intrigue. The stakes, like the villain's goal had already happened. He had already won. He had already discredited Ross. He had already humiliated him. So at that point, turning him into the Red Hulk, what was it going to do at that point?
Right.
Like, there was nothing that Sam was really trying to stop.
Yeah,
and I don't think they really did Red Hulk justice anyways, because he's supposed to be a lot more powerful than
one thing we have to remember is this was the first time he'd ever been the Red Hulk, and he was learning how to be Hulk at that time. So it was all savagery at that point.
This annoys me too. I really hate it when movies do this, and you can especially tell when reshot movies do this. Like right at the beginning of the movie, and I already had a bad feeling when they did this. Whenever he's asking if they've heard from Betty, just the way he words it. Have you heard from my daughter, Betty? And he keeps reiterating that that's who she is. It's like movies should not have to keep telling you these things and hitting you over the head with it.
No, I agree.
Probably the most egregious example is as soon as the plot kicks in, so you have Sam, you have Sam figuring out, the whole plot essentially with what Leader is doing. And then you have Leader himself telling Sam that. And then Giancarlo's character comes out and says it again. And you've already put it together at that point. Like you're already 10 steps ahead of the screenwriter. And they want to structure it or present it as, this whole master brilliant plan. You can only do that if the script itself is brilliant. When you as the audience feel like you're 10 steps ahead of the writer, that's a problem.
It is a problem. Yeah, you're right.
Not going to lie, like with Betty, I didn't feel like in my mindset that version of Betty had chemistry with Mark Ruffalo's Hulk.
No, it didn't. It was a weird...
I felt like it was off.
It was, 100%. Columbia Rican here with the $2 super chat. With how bad She-Hulk went, no West Coast Avengers. Well, I don't think any. I think She-Hulk is going to be part of that collateral damage with the world breaking that happens between Doomsday and Secret Wars.
So to Lone Wolf's thing too, the stuff with Carlo, he's in the first part of the movie to set things up. That part worked fine. You didn't really notice the reshoots there because, granted, it's easier to reshoot the beginning of the movie than duct tape your plot together.
Yeah.
But the fact that, that's your character that's giving all the exposition and, making the plot do what it needs to. The fact that you bring in that character a year after principal photography's done and try to just insert him in here and there, that doesn't work.
Yeah. Let's see here. We got a super chat from...
Sorry, I'm going on rants.
That's okay.
I spent weeks talking about this movie back.
That's all right. After this, we're going to rush through that Lone Wolf article just to see what the chat thinks, but it's... If anybody has to go, I get it, because we're coming up on the 3-hour mark. Cody here with the $5 super chat. Steve is what America was. John is what America is. Sam is what America should. That's a really good way to put it. I don't know if that... Cody, I'm going to give you credit for coming up with that. I don't know if that came from somewhere else, but I really like it put that way. So...
Well, the way that I've always phrased it is, Steve wanted to save people no matter where they were from.
Yeah.
Sam wanted to make people better.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. And
John didn't care.
The thing I was going to say is, how cool would it have been if we had established the Avengers through Sam, the non-official, like non-government Avengers? Because at that point, he was just collecting people to fight against the president. If he would have done that, and then the new Avengers would have been established in Thunderbolts, they could have really, really pushed that in the marketing if they would have done that. Completely dropped the ball on that. I think that would have been a great way to do the marketing.
And then, hey, then you could have done your own version of Schism.
Yep, there you go. Troy here with the $5 super chat. Thank you again for the donations, Troy. Shang-Chi is the most infuriating post-Endgame. He had so much going for it. We even got Trevor and CGIBS. What a wasted opportunity. Not to mention, there was supposed to be a spinoff thing from that with his sister, which never happened. And they set up lore within that own franchise. We should have had a second Shang-Chi by now that went even further into the lore of that world that they established. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever that they dropped the ball on that. That was really dumb.
Especially after they fixed the Mandarin stuff, you're like, okay, now what's that about?
Yeah. All right, before we do Lone Wolf's article, we're just kind of go through. Cameron with the $5 super chat. Eric, did you see that people hate Jeremy Adams in the current Aquaman comic run because he killed both Aqualad and Mera?
Yeah, I saw that.
What?
Yep.
Wait, is this the alt Elseworlds one, or is this the actual main continuity?
I don't know. My brain's split right now. I think it's an Elseworlds thing.
Oh my god.
Might be wrong on that though.
You know what? The funny thing is, I think if it is the main continuity, that's one of those like egregious things where it's like, are they coming back? Are they not coming back? Because comic book characters rarely ever stay gone for good. So you just have to wait for another writer to come along and bring them back.
We used to be able to say only Bucky, but not anymore.
Cameron said it's the main continuity. Really?
Oh, is it main?
So Mera and Aqualad are both Aqualads. So Mera and both Aqualads were killed in the main continuity.
Or Aquaman.
Yeah, I mean, that's annoying. Okay. All right, so here's the article.
The Aqualad, was it Cal or was it Gar?
Both of them. He said he killed both of them.
Wow. That sucks.
All right, so here's Lone Wolf's article. The title of the article is The 25 Best Superhero Movies of All Time. We're just going to read through this. We're not going to read every single paragraph. We're just going to read which ones they are. From Superman to The Dark Knight, these are the movies that hold true staying power. In the chat, I want you guys...
I've seen this. I read this article, yeah.
Okay. It's from last month. I haven't seen it yet, so don't spoil it for me. So
all I will say is that term right there that they use, staying power.
Yeah.
Some of the options in here do not reflect staying power at all.
Okay. Well, let's see what they got. Chat, you can chime off how you feel about these. All right. Number 25 is Thunder.
Which right there.
Oh, okay.
Great movie.
How do we know?
Great movie, but staying power. It's
how do we know?
3 months old.
Look, I love Thunderbolts, and I think Thunderbolts will go down as being one of the best Marvel movies, but we don't know that for sure.
But staying power. It's barely 3 months old.
Yeah. I don't. It's weird. I love this movie though. I think it's a great movie. Shazam.
I mean,
I like the first one. But it's not better than Thunderbolt for me.
I mean, I concept because like a lot of your people that go into this, they're like they're doing big as a superhero movie, but it doesn't exactly have staying power because the franchise is dead.
I actually think that Pagey said this was his favorite superhero movie for a while, like the original Shazam, the very first one. I don't see it. It's not giving for me. Super 2010. Really?
This was not my favorite gun movie.
Why is this number? This is one of the ones that people usually don't like.
This is not my favorite gun movie. I'll say that.
I need to watch that movie.
Ooh, it's not an easy watch. That's all.
Okay, well that's an interesting one. Thor Ragnarok. Okay, so I know you don't like this, Jake. This is one of my favorite Marvel movies of all time.
Right, but again, I go back to that term up at the top, staying power. Like, this kind of led to the negative connotation that people have toward Thor now. So I don't know if I would use staying power in a positive light there.
Look, there's Pagey in the chat. I mentioned that he loves Shazam, and he shows up in the chat. I don't know how the fuck that happened. But I think I know that. I think you said you really love the first Thor movie, right, Jake?
Yeah.
That's my favorite. So I'm lukewarm on Thor 1 and Thor 2. I think both of them are okay movies. They're not my favorite. I think they have things in them that I like, but they're okay. This movie, to me, I think everything in this movie worked for me. Everything from start to finish. And the reason why is I've been waiting to see Hela forever, and Hela is excellent in this movie. Probably the best part of the movie for me.
I just hated the fact that the title of the movie got subjugated to a B plot.
Yes, that part I understand. Also, I know people didn't like Thor's personality because this was Chris Hemsworth leaning into the funny stuff because I guess Ghostbusters, he was the best thing about that movie. And so they really wanted to give him a chance to be funny because this was right after that. So I understand that.
Get help.
Yeah.
These Taika Waititi's Thor movies, they did to Thor what WB did to Batman in the 90s.
I totally disagree with that because I think this movie is so much better than Love and Thunder, and Love and Thunder is absolutely shit.
It is, but I mean,
I don't think these movies are comparable in my opinion. Like, I don't think there's anything that makes them even Love and Thunder is a mess from start to finish. This movie, I think Marvel had their what word am I looking for? They were overseeing this movie in a way that didn't let him go too crazy with it. Whereas Love and Thunder was literally no oversight whatsoever.
No.
That's my opinion. But that's just me. Like, I don't care. Look, Supergirl's boyfriend, Kate Blanchett, is sexy. I think she was amazing in the movie. I loved her. I think that Tom was amazing in this movie. I think that Hulk was used really well in this movie. There are elements that I don't like about it, but I think it's my favorite Thor movie out of all the Thor movies. I really enjoy it. It's a fun movie.
Because that's what heroes do.
I mean, yes. But look, Jake does make a good point that this is where they got the idea that they could just go crazy with Thor and make him a silly, funny guy. And I don't think that was necessarily the right direction for him.
When you have a movie called Thor Ragnarok and that plot is barely in the movie, you have a problem.
Chris, you can love and Thunder. Look, if I don't like something, I don't need other people to agree or disagree with me. You can like whatever you want. Yeah,
he likes Dark World, and that's a bad movie, but he likes it. So.
I love Dark World. I'm lukewarm on Dark World. Watchmen from 2009. This movie is a little weird for me because there's times when I love it and there's times when I hate it.
I love it.
I think yes. I think that stylistically it is a 10 out of 10. I think it's visually, it is one of the coolest looking superhero movies from this era. I think the problem with this movie, and they say staying power, is that it feels completely separate from every other superhero thing we got this time period. So I think it's a niche thing, and I think some people are going to love that, like Ronan loves it. I think there's a lot of people that love it. I don't know if people I don't ever hear this brought up in conversations when it comes to like.
There's one scene there's one scene in the film that is staying power, but I'm not going to say which one. There's a scene.
Move on, please.
Do you know what it is, Jake? Do you know what he's talking about?
Yes.
Okay, well then we'll move on. Superman 2. Well, it's got to be the Donner cut. It can't be the regular one.
Yeah.
It has to be the Donner cut.
Yeah.
I like the Donner cut more than the theatrical cut, in my opinion.
I mean, I would have liked to see the movie that he actually wanted to do, back in 1979, because that Donner cut's closer, but it's still not quite.
It's still not great. Yeah, yes. Well, I'd say it's not great. It's not great for him because he wanted to do something else. So
it's still not complete.
Right. But I love these first two Superman movies, so you'll not get any complaints from me there. Avengers Endgame. I'm going to. Okay, so let me put this out there.
I'm surprised it's that low.
I much prefer Infinity War to Endgame. I think
agree.
Infinity War is a million times better than Endgame. I think Endgame is a great end cap to what Infinity War is, but I think Infinity War is the superior movie of the two, in my opinion. I
mean, you can't deny the impact that Endgame had.
No, I'm not denying that. I'm just saying, like, from a movie standpoint, I think Infinity War is a better movie.
I'm saying I'm surprised, if they're talking about staying power, I'm surprised this movie isn't higher.
This is weird. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2?
You picked like my two least favorite James Gunn movies.
I mean, one is great. One for me is iconic. Like, the first Guardians of the Galaxy is a great standalone science fiction adventure film.
It's my favorite MCU movie.
Yeah. 2 is the one where the third act is awful to me. Like, I don't like the third act in 2.
There are moments that I love in it, but I
just don't really like 2 at all.
I think there's some. I think 2's okay in the first and second act. And I think it really falls apart in the third act.
It has a couple moments that I'm fine with, but
yeah,
man, this movie.
I actually think 3 is better than 2. I think 2 is the worst of the 3 movies.
No, I think 3 is clearly better than 2. Like I think 1 is great. I think 3 is decent, and then
I love the holiday special.
2 is just not great.
Holiday special is great.
The holiday special is great. I just really don't like part 2.
What do we got? Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
Shin Kamen Rider.
That's
really?
Again, staying power. Like, who do you? I'm not saying this is a bad movie, but who do you see talk about it?
Nobody really talks about this. Like, yeah. All right. Well, interesting being there. Oh, Hellboy from 2004.
Yeah. Yes.
We talked about it, like how much I effing love that first one and the second movie so much. A lot more than all the new comic book related.
Can I say something that might be controversial about Hellboy? I like the second one better than the first one. Is that controversial?
No. I could very much see that.
I like the whole the clockwork elements of it, like going into the different worlds. So I like all of that part of it. I think the first one is definitely Hellboy. Like you're in the city doing that stuff and everything. I like the adventure aspect of the second one.
And the second one has some more personal stakes, even though without spoiling it, there's some heartbreaking stuff in Hellboy 1. But yeah, especially the second 2 is all about okay, now not just a small group knows about these guys. What does that mean for them? And they give Abe Sapien more to do. Him and Liz, there's more stuff at stake, and
yeah.
Why couldn't we have gotten a trilogy for this?
I just wanted one more. And just bookend it.
You know what? Netflix, get on it. Give him his third Hellboy movie, and let's do it.
Also, I highly recommend anybody who has not gone and read it, go read Hellboy in Mexico. It's a great graphic novel collection.
And also, I will say the Hellboy Blood and Iron animated movie, fantastic.
I am not going to disagree with this. This is always in my top 5 Marvel movies. I love everything about the Winter Soldier. I have zero complaints about this movie. It is probably the most uncomplaining movie that I have when it comes to Marvel movies.
But it's not top 5 for them.
I mean, I like it. Gonna hate me for this. I like this one. I wouldn't even put it in my top 5 of MCU. It's probably in my top 10, but not my top 5. I do really like it, but with what we've seen on this list so far, I thought it would have been higher.
Good night, Columbia Rican. Have a good night. Thank you for hanging out.
Sometimes I prefer the first Avenger, in my opinion. I just love that 40s aesthetic and the fact that it was
I think that this movie for me really changed the MCU. There's something about this movie that really changed with the MCU. Got a tongue tie there. MCU. Yes, I agree. But this movie is what made Marvel look at the Russo brothers and go, "Yeah, this is what we want for our Avengers movies, right?" And then obviously Civil War.
And people actually took Captain America seriously in this movie going forward.
Yeah. Wow, The Crow from 1995. Wow. Thank goodness people still love this one because fuck that remake they did recently.
Oh God!
Fuck that remake.
Oh yeah. I finally saw that a month or 2 ago. And
so far, Hellboy and this one are the ones where staying power seems to make sense because they've never, in my opinion, there's never been a better Hellboy franchise than the 2 Del Toro ones, and then obviously they tried to do this one, didn't work. Logan is number 13.
That should be higher in my opinion.
I should be higher, yeah.
Hot take, I hate this movie. I'm not kidding.
Wow. Okay.
I hate this movie.
Yeah.
You broke Ronan.
No, I do. I hate it. I talked about it on stream before, about my thoughts about the movie. But let me tell you why I don't like it. They're not sitting here, but let me explain why that I don't like it, because I think a lot of people probably think there's a couple reasons for me. But I am an outlier. I am very, very, very on the outside of this one, so I get it. I was never a fan of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, never even since the beginning. I never liked him as this character, and he really won me over in Deadpool and Wolverine. But before that, I just never really liked him. Let me tell you my issue with this movie, and I know it's my personal issue. Most people disagree with me. The first half of this movie was genius. I loved the first half of this movie so much. The idea of being in the desert, Professor X they have to keep him away from the rest of the world. They're facing off against these invaders, and everything feels very dire and desolate and separated. And I really enjoyed that part of it. Once they went on the road trip, I literally did not like this movie.
That's when he starts growing a little bit of heart. To me, the dinner table. I used to.
I agree with the whole X-23 storyline and stuff. Yes, there was a lot of that there, but for me, watching the movie, I didn't enjoy the transition from what it was in the beginning to the back half of the movie.
So what about when it transitioned to a road trip in Deadpool and Wolverine? Then
that wasn't an issue for me because at that point I was already sold. This movie, I was getting invested in what this movie was in the first act, and then it flipped on me. And I actually felt like it tonally changed. And that was probably Mangold's point was to make the movie feel different, like because Logan was changing as a person, and that was the intention of the end of the film. And I get that part. But for me, it just wasn't a very good viewing experience. And to be fair, I've only watched the movie one time.
Oh, you need to watch that again, and especially the noir version.
Yeah,
right.
This is like my second favorite comic.
Right. So I need to go back and maybe give it another shot because at the time I didn't appreciate what they did. But that was, again, let me tell you though, I went into this not being a fan of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, not liking the idea that this was a separate, at that point, a separate continuity from everything we had with the very fucked up X-Men storyline in the Fox universe. So I was very mad about that. I went into it with all of that, but then I really started to like it. My brother hates it too. Hates it for the same reasons I hate it for. But I really started to like it in that first act. I was on like the beginning when he's in with the limo and the claws and him being an old man and like I was super, super invested in that. I really loved that. I loved it when we found out they were living off the grid. Everything was working for me. I'm like, okay, this sounds really, really great. Then it was like, oh, there's this comic book, and then there's this place you can go, and then we're going to go to Canada, and that's going to save us, even though there's nothing stopping mutants from crossing the fucking border. It just didn't make any sense to me. Like, it didn't make any sense to me in that regard.
People keep saying the Dark Knight is, the pinnacle of what, we could do in comic books. I've always said, like, you know what, Dark Knight got us there. This is the next evolution. I'm like, okay, you can do. You don't have to just rely on cops in the streets. No. You can do a western like this. And I said that, like, I say Eric, give it a try because man, you know what? Take away Hugh out of it because Hugh, I think he should have been nominated for this in my opinion. Marco Beltrami's score, the cinematography, the production design, the fact that this made this movie look twice its budget. Yeah. And I appreciate when movies do that. And yeah, to me, this was you always hear, the filmmakers, I went to go see The Searchers with my dad. Or, This was very much with me and my siblings.
So there are two things that I'll get with this one is one, I think this is one of those comic book movies that works almost just as well, if not potentially better, as just a movie. Movie.
That's the thing is that if I go back and watch this, I'm going to just think of it as as a one-off like standalone movie, and that will probably open it up a little bit for me. Right. I was very negative towards the Fox X-Men universe going into this film. I didn't like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, which I don't mind now after seeing Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm okay with it, right? Like they made fun of that in the showing the different Wolverines and stuff. So I kind of, it won me over a little bit, right? Obviously, I like X-23 or Laura now that I've seen her, like where she's gone from here. There's a lot of things I did like about the movie. I think it was a beautiful film. I think it was shot well. Like you said, I think the score and the cinematography and the soundtrack were all good. I just think there was a lot of issues with the story logically, and I was not going to be convinced on nostalgia that this was good in my opinion. But I need to go back and watch it again because again, all of that was what the baggage I was carrying into this movie when I saw it. So I will go back and give it another shot.
I would say that this has also the best trailer with The Hurt by Johnny Cash.
Yeah, The Hurt.
I think its ending and last shot rivals The Dark Knight in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say even the Kaleo song too for the second trailer. But also this is one of those movies where I think the thematics work really well. You have somebody like Logan who has lived through so much of the world, and he just so like on one hand, one hand you have somebody like Laura who was created through science and is just trying to find her place in the world, and then on the other end you have someone like Logan who's been in the world for so long he wants nothing more than to be out of it.
Right. Yeah.
Do you like the Wolverine?
This week I'm going to go back and watch it. I think it's on Disney Plus. I think it's on Disney Plus. I'll go and watch it on Disney Plus. I like the Wolverine. That's my favorite Wolverine movie. The second
movie was a proof of concept for this.
Yeah, no, I love that movie. That's one of my favorite ones. I just I think I mentioned it before. The only thing I didn't like about it was the Silver Samurai mech. Other than that, I really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to drop out.
All right, we'll see you later, 3Dub. Have a good night, 3Dub. Thanks for hanging out.
I wouldn't put this on here.
Yeah,
I would. It should be higher in my opinion.
My issue with this movie, and I only really have one issue with it, is I think it's got an additional fourth act that I don't like. I feel like the third act feels broken up into two pieces, and so when I'm watching it, I feel like I get to a point where the movie is supposed to end and then it keeps going, which is the flooding of Gotham. I just feel like that felt like an additional part.
See, that stuff works for me because I think that makes Batman into that symbol of hope. The fact that he's not an agent of fear at that point, and the people can follow him as like an example, and he's leading them through. It's a lot of the fluff leading up to that point that I think you could have.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying that portion of it is bad. I'm saying that the way the movie was made, you feel like you get to a end point and then it keeps going. That's an issue with the pacing and editing of the movie. I don't have an issue with what happens at the end. I have an issue of the way the movie feels getting to that point.
It was 30 minutes too long.
Yeah, I feel like there was some editing that could have been done, or don't make it feel, because doesn't the part where he's like deciding to leave Gotham, doesn't that happen before that flooding, like with him and Catwoman where they're talking on the bikes?
Isn't that before the very last thing?
Okay,
that thing on the bikes is the end of the movie.
Okay, that part felt good, but I feel like that part could have been. They should have done something like that sooner in the movie, or change the way the flooding portion happens, so that it doesn't feel disjointed. I don't remember exactly like what happens right before the flooding happens. Doesn't he go to see the Riddler in jail?
No, so the Riddler, the last thing we see of the Riddler is him like going, "No, I lost."
No, I mean I think there's a point in the movie before the flooding happens.
Yes, he does see the Riddler.
Yes, when he goes to see
as smart as I thought you were.
Yes. That part to me, when he went to see the Riddler in jail, felt like the end of the movie. Like he captured the bad guy, and then they changed it up on us, and we're like, no, he didn't. There's more, right? That felt very jarring to me as a viewer, and I did not appreciate the way they did that.
Yeah, because like the whole thing, with what happened with Carmine, it's like, yeah, he captured the bad guy, but he's still kind of lost.
Yeah,
so.
I just think for me, there's very few movies that feel too long. This movie, when we got to that flooding portion of it, I was literally doing this.
Oh,
and to be honest, I think a lot of other people have agreed with me on that, so I don't think I'm the only one that feels that way about it. However, there's nothing wrong with the way this movie looks or sounds or anything. This is my favorite Gotham. Like this world is my favorite Gotham.
See, I don't agree with that personally.
But let me tell you why, though. I'll explain why, and then you can tell me why you disagree with me. I think it's my favorite Gotham because it feels like how Gotham would exist in reality versus like some of the other over-the-top Gothams we've had in the past. I love the funny, like over-the-top, silly, like Tim Burton type Gotham shit. I love that. But this movie, with the vibe they were going for, this Gotham for me is like the perfect Gotham. That's just me personally.
It feels like it, like I and he probably, Reeves probably said it, but like I'm someone who fucking loves Chinatown, and this feels like something out of that Chinatown PI 70s detective film, or even like a pulp novel.
So wait, hold on. Is this your favorite Gotham or no, Ronan? Like, which one would be your favorate? Because I want to know what Jake says too.
It's up there.
Jake's gonna say the animated series, aren't you?
Well, yeah.
I mean, I wasn't even thinking about that until you brought it up.
The thing that with this one, it feels very Victorian-esque, yet has that modern taste, which I appreciate that. Whereas the balance of like the old land, while being still built up with new stuff and whatnot, like the design of the buildings, like we've been saying it that like if there's some shots in the next one without having the amount of just shots of over the top or in alleys of just the camera just watching Batman do his thing, I could buy the quarter of hours existing in this world.
Yeah. So mine, I mean, this is not really fair, but I'll be honest. mine was probably the one we got in the Gotham series, because
Wow.
that one
All
felt
right.
like it had a lot of just history built into
Yeah.
it. I liked the lore, and you got to see, granted, the by the end of the series, you started to lose this a little bit, but
Mm.
you got to see how the everyday person reacted to events that were happening. You didn't see it from a larger than life scale, which, even though Batman's human, you always saw some things in Gotham from kind of a larger than life perspective, because you weren't down there in it. And also, when you look at that show, it came out in 2015, but you look at that Gotham, and it's got kind of a timeless feel to it. The city has got it's got a lot
I mean,
of
to be
dated
fair,
architecture, it's got like modern technology. So it's a bunch of mix of different things. Not only did you spend a good amount of time in it, but it felt like it had the most character.
My favorite Gotham is Batwoman, just straight up. Like that's
That shit was so damn boring.
no. My favorite Gotham was Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights. So
Gotham and Batwoman was so goddamn boring. Like,
Also, can I say that, like, people, say it's too long. When I come in this movie a lot. Maybe the comics already done it. Granted, I haven't read every goddamn Batman comic book or Detective Comics comic book, but I appreciate that by the end of this movie, which I love long movies, the fact that they made me like almost stand up and applaud just seeing him get the people throughout the flood, and then even the moment with the kid of like
that's the best part of the movie.
About when that is the best part of the movie. Yeah,
when the kid lifts up and doesn't want to let go of Batman, I was just like,
to be fair, the whole combat scene leading up to that and the water flooding moment where he's fighting people at the top of the scaffolding and
that
stuff.
felt like year one, man.
Oh, yeah, that was really good.
But like you were saying, like I love the Burton Gotham, I love the Nolan Gotham.
Yes, it deserves. It should be a little bit higher, but
I
it
would
deserves.
say only number 11.
Yeah,
I love this. Look, this is my favorite. This movie is my favorite Spider-Man movie. My favorite one.
I can see it there. Yep.
Fair enough. It's probably my number 3, but I mean, I don't diss anybody who.
I love seeing Peter mentor Miles. I love everything about this.
Peter B. Parker, man. Oh.
Yeah, I love it. This is great, and I think it felt fresh, but it didn't feel like it was breaking the world of Spider-Man, which I really appreciated about it.
That's hard to do.
Yeah, they did a great job with it.
This probably has one of my favorite like passing of the torch moments. And Jake knows this is you gotta go home, man, and let's go. And that music from Daniel Pemberton, and just not bad, kid. I'm like,
it's all about that leap of faith.
The torch has been passed.
Oh, here we go. Another Batman so close together. I probably mentioned this before, but as a kid, my favorite movie soundtrack was this one because it was the Prince soundtrack. Yep. I loved every single song on it. And it was one of those weird things where I remember when it happened, people were like, Prince is making the music for a Batman movie. It just didn't make any sense. And then we got Bat Dance, and I'm like, holy shit, that makes total sense to me. So this, to me, it's not, I agree it should be on this list, but the soundtrack alone for this one, not the score, but the soundtrack, I think is incredible. Incredible.
This movie also had such a stylistic approach to Gotham, and as one of the things that I think really gave it its own identity. I still have the VHS tape for this that had the Diet Coke commercial on it, which if you're around, if you're like anywhere from our age to Eric's age, you probably had that same VHS tape.
Yeah.
And like I memorized every note of this score. This one was a formative movie for me because I saw it so many times.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts,
dude.
Man, and it's crazy when you look at the fact that granted, I love this movie. There are obvious problems with it.
Oh, there are. Yeah, it's not a perfect film.
Like when you look at honestly both this movie and Batman Returns, there's a pretty strong argument to be made that they're not exactly Batman stories. Like the villains get a lot more focus in both of those movies.
Not only that, but like pushing people off a clock tower. Batman doesn't kill, but
doesn't do that.
Clearly.
I mean, also, this one has a sentiment value to me because I had seen Batman the Animated Series before this, I think. And I'll never forget it. I remember going to my childhood place where we used to go rent movies. Which kids, we used to go rent movies back in the day.
Yeah, good times.
I remember seeing they usually put up posters of what was they were getting new, and they had put up this poster. They had the VHS for Batman out. And I remember it was the first time my dad was like, "Oh man, look at that!" And I was like, "They have a Batman movie?" He said, "Oh yeah, it's great. There's this great actor named Jack Nicholson in it who plays the clown and whatnot." I was just like, "Could we see it?" And he's like, "Yeah." And it was the first time my dad had introduced me to something that he knew I'd be into, and I was just like, "That's cool."
Jarrett says that Jack Nicholson was great as Joker. Michael Keaton was a great Batman, but a not so great Bruce.
Yeah, I
So,
could have done more time with it, but like, there's something about his figure that like, makes me think of like, yo, he's messed up in the head.
I kind of liked how they approached his Bruce, and you see this, scrawny little guy who really doesn't look like he could be a
He's like a
superhero,
geeky nerd guy or
but
whatever. Yeah.
That's the mask. Like
Yeah.
that's the mask that he plays so well. And little trivia here too. That iconic scene at the beginning of the movie where he's holding the guy off the roof. What are you? I'm Batman. That wasn't the line originally.
No.
Keaton was supposed to say, "I am the Knight." He went off book in the script, and they liked the change so much that they kept it in.
So I heard a different story. What's his name? Jake, Superman Lives producer.
John Peters.
Yes, John Peters, who was the producer on this. Apparently, what he said, he wanted Keaton to say, "I'm Batman, motherfucker."
Oh.
And he said, I wanted that because he knew the kids would go, yeah, and I still, if my kid would say, "I'm Batman, motherfucker," I'd be like, oh shit.
There were discussions about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, and another thing too. Sorry, I
Such
know
a good line.
I know so much about the behind the scenes for this movie. It's probably unhealthy, but
It's wild.
I will say that the character that Robert Wool played, Alexander Knox, he died in every version of the script except the one that was used for the final movie.
Wow.
Which is pretty funny.
All right, so we have X2 X-Men United from 2003.
I get it. I prefer the first X-Men.
I mean, I do get this because this movie really showed, this is how you do a sequel right. Like, you improve on the aspects of the first movie. You got better action. You got a more tightly knit story. Your movie making technology has improved a little bit. This movie has still one of the, we're talking about staying power. People still talk about the opening sequence to this movie to this day as being one of the most badass Nightcrawler sequences.
But one thing about the X-Men movies, like, even if you don't like the movies, almost all of them have like one thing in them that's like really good, whether it be Quicksilver or Nightcrawler or Magneto or something like that. Yeah, or Wolverine. There's always something in there that people remember.
Yeah.
Unbreakable from 2000.
This one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like Unbreakable doesn't make my top 10 in my opinion.
I was glad this one was in here because
I love this movie.
10? Does it make my top 10? No, not necessarily. Kind of like Hellboy, it has that same sort of staying power.
I love this movie, but I love it for the weirdest reasons. Like, I feel like I like it because it's so weird as a superhero movie. I don't know if I like it for any other reason. The fact it's just really weird. All right. The OG Wonder Woman from 2017, so the first one, not 1984.
It was the first big female-led superhero movie.
There's a lot of things they did right with this movie, and I do think this movie was a success in terms of like putting together a well-made film. I think the third act was predictable, but outside of that, I think they did everything right. It's so weird to go from this to what they went to in Wonder Woman 84 because Wonder Woman 84 feels like it was made by a completely different person, to be honest.
I mean, her holding the shield in No Man's Land was iconic. To me, my favorite moment is her telling off the generals, how dare you think this way? Generals fight with their soldiers, and you should be shame on all of you. And I was just like, shit.
The main thing that kills this stuff for me is the Ares.
Yeah. Look, Fat Man says that the No Man's Land scene is iconic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. All right, let's see what we got.
And a great score.
The OG Black Panther, the first one from 2018.
I don't have any arguments here, really. Again, this is another movie where the third act kind of gets a little messy.
It does. Yeah. That's actually my, like, watching this movie, I think I mentioned this, my biggest issue with this movie is the VFX in the third act. Other than that, I really like this movie. I think, I will say this, I think as much as I love Ryan Coogler, I think the Russos nailed the costume and the vibe of Black Panther in the mask doing Black Panther stuff. Yeah, in Civil War.
This is more akin to the Ta-Nehisi Coates run, which I was just like, I can't believe they actually did it, but I prefer the Civil War suit.
It looked way better in Civil War because there was more of a design there, whereas this movie and onward, it was just kind of a boring
nanotech
pattern.
It became a melee Iron Man suit, which is not really what I wanted from Black Panther. Black Panther was frighteningly like how do I put this? Imposing in Civil War without needing any tech whatsoever.
There's that little bit in there when the helicopter's shooting at him and you see the bullets clang off the vibranium suit.
Yeah. And the claws, but other than that, that was pretty much it.
The line he tells Steve, "How long do you think you can keep your friend safe from me?" And I was just like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. The Incredibles, 2004.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have. This is a movie where I have, and this is. I rarely ever say this. I have zero criticisms of The Incredibles.
Timeless.
It's a movie that I just love from start to finish. No
Same.
notes at all.
If I ever get so fucking lucky to do one of these superhero movies one day, one of my goals is to like honor and do a scene. One of my favorite scenes of all time, like is when him and Helen are arguing right before they find the big droid. And he's like, I need to do this alone. He's like, why? You think I'll make you stronger? And he just grabs and he's like, I can't lose you again. And I'm like, I need to do that one day. I want to achieve that. Like,
Right.
Because I completely understood that. Even as a kid, I understood what that meant. And I just love Helen
One
Hunter.
of the best things about this movie is you see like all the different range of these superheroes. Like you see the desperation in that scene. And when he thinks they're gone, you see just the complete vacancy in his face. He's like, how could you make me steep any lower? What more could you take away? It's
right.
Like, God damn.
Also, Giacchino.
Oh, Giacchino's score nailed it.
I went apoplectic when I met him at Comic Con. I was just like, hey, incredible.
This is another one that makes
All right.
perfect sense.
Yeah. This is so. This is a cultural shift. Like this movie really did change the landscape of like superhero movies because not only did we never really have anything like this ever in history, where we had a bunch of heroes from different movies come together in one big movie, which is something that Marvel did, where it was like just an absolutely fantastic idea. But the movie itself was a good movie. Like just as a standalone movie, it's good. And you get that, and then you get the greatness of all the individual actors coming together, and then the incredible villainy of Loki, who is controlling the army, and the Chitauri coming through the portal in New York, and it created lore for this world. There's so many things that were connected to the alien invasion throughout the existence of the Marvel universe, still to this day, that are connected to that attack on New York, that I think really set a standard for films like this.
It holds up, in my opinion.
For people that were like little kids whenever this movie came out and they like grew up with this part of the MCU, this movie probably feels a little bit quaint in their eyes because like team ups are commonplace all the time now. But if you weren't there in 2012 when all of these actors from all these different movies come together, because you had movies about superhero teams like the X-Men and the Fantastic Four prior, but you had never had something like this where all of these different franchises, all of these different tones, all these different characters were crossing over. And despite the fact that I can't stand the director of this movie, the tone was found.
Oh yeah.
The script is good. The dialogue is impeccable. And do I need to say about the 360 shot?
Yeah,
that is foundational, like jazz for the MCU. It's like we can do that. We can achieve.
Oh, here we go.
Add a film this
The Dark Knight 2008. I'm not going to disagree with this. I think this movie's always going to be in like people's like top 5, top 10 list, no doubt. I mean,
it's still a great movie.
Yeah, I feel like this movie just made so many right decisions when it comes to filmmaking. First of all, the overall cinematography of this movie is incredible. The color grading, which I know some people don't like color grading. I like the color grading in this movie.
Yes,
I think it looks really good.
The shot, the cop car shot of Joker hanging out.
And this is another movie where your hero loses.
Yeah.
He's not going back.
Yeah, no, I think this is incredible. I don't really have much to add to it, except I agree that it's definitely, it should be in this list of staying
what's
power.
his name? Two-Face, Harvey Dent.
Aaron Eckhart.
Aaron Eckhart deserves more love because Heath is the GOAT, but like Aaron Eckhart, what he does as Harvey is heartbreaking.
Just that scene at the end. It's not about what I want.
All
It's
right.
about what's fair.
So we are at 3, and as Lone Wolf says, here we go. We got the top 2 now.
I feel like I know what they're going to be.
Well, you've already done this before, haven't
no,
you?
I've already seen this. Yeah, I already know what they are. Never mind.
Okay. I'm very nervous because I feel like we've had some interesting choices leading up to this. And
I will say there are some that should be on here that are not.
Let me think before I scroll down because we're about to wrap this up. We're only going to be here for another 5 or 6 minutes. But what have we not seen on here? So we got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 that I think could be at the top of the list. What other superhero? Blade has not been on here. What else am I missing here in my mind? Deadpool movies have not been on here.
Infinity War?
Infinity War has not been on here. You're right. Yeah.
I would say.
Where's Age of Ultron at? No love for Age of Ultron?
So do you want me to say whether or not you guys have guessed one on here yet?
No, don't.
No. Let's just do it. All right, we're gonna go for number 2 because then the number 1 will be the big reveal here. Number 2 is Oh, Spider-Man 2. No. This is fine.
Yeah.
I don't mind this being here, honestly. This is, out of those 3 Raimi films, this is my favorite, and I think it's the one that most people would agree is the best of the 3.
I mean, I prefer the first movie.
I was going to say, like, I could see an argument for the first one, but nobody's arguing the third one is better than 1 or 2. That's not happening.
I mean, I still love the third movie.
Well, no, I'm not saying you can't love it. I don't think it's a better movie than 2 or 1, honestly.
No. But I mean, I'm still.
The subway scene, that is New York right there, right? In my book. And I think of New York and Spider-Man. It's that scene where they lift him up and, the little kid gives him the mask. I'm like, oh, shit.
It's okay, yeah.
And even Alfred Molina, I'm like,
yeah, I know. When I saw he was coming back in that Marvel and the Spider-Man No Way Home, I was like, I'm sold.
I'm so happy.
Love him. All right, here we go. Number 1. I don't know what it is, but I feel like it could be bad. So let's see what we got.
It's not bad.
Oh, Superman 19. This is I could have gone with a really safe choice. This probably would have been one of my safe choices.
It defined the genre.
Yeah. I also feel like it's a cop-out, though, because...
I prefer 2.
Yeah, no one's going to put this in... Nobody's going to argue against this being number 1 as a standard, because it does. You're right, it did sort of establish a genre. But also, there's some other ones in there that I think are better movies than this one. Honestly, I think putting it at number 1, okay, fine, fair. You're saying staying power, but I agree with Ronan. I think if we're talking about 1 and 2, I think 2 is a better one. Honestly, if we're going to argue,
although I like parts of 1,
I don't agree personally, but
yeah, this movie is and again, I saw this as a kid before anybody else saw this. This movie was great at the time that I saw it, but growing up, I'm someone. Let me just explain my personality. A lot of people don't sort of understand my personality or whatever. I don't consider nostalgia to be a reason to give something to something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't look at it that way. I judge something based on what it is at the time that I'm watching it and how I feel about it at that moment. I never will give something accolades because it came out before something else. I don't think that's a fair way to judge something, to be like, well, that movie came out 5 years before this one, so that means it automatically should be higher on a list. I don't agree with that. So I think for me, even though this was the first one and it defined it, for me, it would not be my number 1.
Yeah, it would not be my probably make my top 10.
It would be in my top 10 for sure.
Probably. But to me, the
Jay Bird.
I know the scene I go back to is when
The Rock did, though. That's why we got the DCU. The hierarchy of power did change. He was not lying about that.
Yeah,
he did not see that coming.
But just think about the things that weren't on here. In Infinity War, Batman Begins, Guardians of the Galaxy,
Under the Red Hood.
Mask of the Phantasm.
Mask of the Phantasm. I was about to say that.
There was no love for the cartoon movies,
which is a shame because
Incredibles was the only one.
Right. Yeah. Trying to think. I feel like there's like another really obvious one that I'm forgetting. Oh, Iron Man was not on here.
Yeah.
None of the Iron Man movies.
Which I could see the argument for number 1.
Yeah. You could definitely. I mean, it kicked off the whole MCU franchise. So
to me, for Superman, I just think back of that scene where Superman leaves Lois Lane, says goodbye. She's like, goodbye. Camera pans. Lois, and then Clark comes into the door, and I'm like,
yeah,
that's a great scene. That scene alone, right?
That's
but I will say, did you notice there was only one DCEU movie on that list?
Yeah.
Which was Wonder Woman.
Shazam.
Well, I feel like that wasn't necessarily directly in the DCEU. That movie felt to me like it was. They didn't really connect it as great as they could have.
I mean, they put a dude in Henry's suit. I don't know,
Superman suit. Yeah.
Maybe.
Personally, I would have put the Suicide Squad.
What's weird though is if you
Chris, that was the Avengers.
Yeah. But Shazam and Wonder Woman being the only two that were there, it's like no love for Snyder whatsoever.
Right.
Like just none.
Like you can debate the quality of Batman vs Superman all you want. People still talk about it.
Yeah.
So it had a sting.
Well, Watchmen did get some love for Snyder there.
Oh, that's right. So they like Snyder, just not Snyder's DCEU stuff.
Main DC stuff.
Right. Yeah. And like you said, another one, Blade, I'm surprised wasn't on there.
Yeah.
I think is another really obvious one again.
I like the Incredible Hulk. In my opinion, I like.
I'm probably like one of the only people that prefers Ang Lee's Hulk.
Yeah.
I know. Almost, I saw that coming. Almost no one thinks that, but no, I don't think that's a bad movie. A lot of people get on it. But I don't think it's bad.
All right, so we got a super chat here from Troy, the Cream McClure, $5 super chat. Says, not saying Superman is the best, but I do disagree. If I invented the light bulb, would you give me more credit to the guy who made it a bit brighter? That's kind of how I view media, but I understand that it's not a monolithic take. So I agree with you. I think that you should definitely give credit to the ones that improve on something, especially if they do that. There's nothing wrong with giving a shout out to the ones that came along and did it. But I feel like Superman being number one was the easiest, no argument choice, because I'm not going to say that they're wrong about it, because obviously it's a great movie and that it did establish a genre. But I think you could definitely argue a ton of other things in that first place spot that was not Superman.
I feel the same way with Dark Knight Returns, where I love that book so much, but I equally love The Long Halloween, Killing Joke.
I'm also surprised that
sorry, Jake.
there was no Deadpool movie on here.
Yeah, I'm surprised by
even
that
the
too.
first one, I would have been like, come on, man, that's such a beautiful. Like,
I mean, if we're talking about like changing a genre, Deadpool 1 kind of flipped everything on its head.
Yeah. And, granted, people can, debate whether or not they think this movie was actually a good movie or just a nostalgia fest. But No Way Home has staying power. Granted, it's a little bit, younger in the movies, too.
It's weird to me to put Thunderbolts in a spot on that list when you have so many other movies that you left off the list. It's just a little weird.
And, I get it. Thunderbolts, I love the hell out of the movie. You can't say a movie has staying power when it's not even a year old.
Days of Future Past is my favorite in that era of X-Men.
First Class, I like
mine is probably out of those. Out of everything, in the new line,
Jake,
First Class is probably my favorite. Yeah,
King Ryburn says Hulk 2003 was great. So was the video game.
I mean, the video game wasn't bad, but if you want to play a good Hulk video game, then play Ultimate Destruction. That's just no debate. I'm sorry.
VFX aside, and we'll wrap it up here. VFX aside, I think that Ang Lee Hulk movie is a creative masterpiece in the way the movie was made, because we've never seen anything like that before then, and we've never seen anything quite like it since. But
you got to see
visually, it doesn't hold up. It's not a great movie.
Panels.
Hey, okay. I didn't hate the panels. I know a lot of people did. I didn't hate the panels, but that's also the only time. Damn it! That's also the only time where you really got to see a psychological take done on the Hulk in that way.
Yeah.
Look,
so this is my favorite of that. How do I put this?
Era?
That era, right? Like Days of Future Past is my favorite of all of it, but like in that era of movies, First Class is my favorite one. Even though they did our boy wrong in that movie.
Oh, Darwin.
And, they did our boy wrong.
Eddie.
I'm still the guy who I like First Class and Days of Future Past a lot. I still prefer X2 to both of them.
Yeah. Jared, I agree that it doesn't affect the overall enjoyability of a movie, but that list was about staying power, and I think you have to count visuals and staying power to some degree.
You know what else I'm also,
in my opinion.
I get,
I could be wrong.
I get, like Spider-Man 2 being on here. I'm a little surprised that the first one wasn't on here because of its impact. Like it was that first mega hit of those comic book movies.
But I mean, that's why I'm kind of confused that the first Blade isn't on the list, because the first Blade reopened that genre that was shut down after the Batman.
Marvel.
Yeah. So after all the Batman stuff. All right. With that being said, we're going to jump out of here. Sorry, Darren. What were you going to say? Well, that's why I said there was going to be no, that we weren't going to do anything. Because you imagine to be like, all right, now we're going to do our list. Like, no, we're not doing all that. So
what you could honestly do is take the bit where we were reacting to all of this and just make that its own upload.
The list of the top 30 or whatever it was.
Just make that its own upload.
I could do that. I could break it off and do that. Anyway, thanks everybody for hanging out. Ronan for jumping in after we started talking about Frankenstein. He's like, I got to jump on, so I'm glad he jumped in. Thank you, Jake, for being here. 3W, who had to dip out. I do appreciate it. Lance, fuck you for not showing up. So he's not going to watch it anyway, so it doesn't matter. By the way, I want to give a shout out. We had an amazing night with donations in here. Actually, we have to do the thing first. I was going to give a shout out for. We got to see what we got on the poll. We had an amazing night for donations. You guys are amazing. Hey, what's up, Chronic? Good to see you. Thank you guys so much for donating super chats. And for the first time ever, first episode of season 2 of the Nerdcast, we hit our goal in the Debunks channel and exceeded it. So thank you guys so much for that. Let's see what we got over here for the poll. What won? Let's see what were they going to make us do? So, geez.
Yeah, don't get old, guys.
Oh, overwhelmingly. Whenever I put one of these in the poll, it almost always wins. Overwhelmingly, 43% is worst Arrowverse decisions.
Fucking knew Arrowverse was going to take it. And see, that's why I feel bad, because Ronan can't join in on these.
I won't join on that one. Nah.
But Ronan can laugh when we tell him what the worst decisions are. So
Oliver Queen. I'm going to tell you.
80s movies came in dead last.
Oh, man.
Dead last, Jake. So
I want to talk about Buckaroo Banzai.
But 90s comedies came in second. So there we go.
Buckaroo Banzai, that's a throwback.
Oh, geez. Anyway, we're going to get out of here. You know, we're going to roll that little clip of mine where I talk about it being pre-recorded. So we're going to do that. So everybody have a great night, and I will see everyone on Monday. We're going to talk about Peacemaker with spoilers on Monday, so make sure you guys watch it between now and then, unless you don't care about spoilers. See you. Okay, so the truth is I was tired of the awkward endings to my streams. So if you're seeing this, it is a pre-recorded video to say thank you to everybody for coming to the stream, and this is the end of the show. I want to give a shout out to all of my panel members who come and join me every single week to give me someone to banter with, someone to chat with, somebody to talk to while we are talking about all of these interesting topics. So make sure if you enjoyed everybody on the stream in this particular broadcast, you head over and support their channels and their social media and show them a little bit of love as well. Also, shout out to all the channel members. You guys keep the lights on. Even though it's dark in here, you keep the lights on, you keep the water running, you keep everything going here so I can continue to make content for you guys. Thank you for all of your love, your continued memberships and support, and your membership chats. Shout out to all the people that super chat and donate to the streams, whether it be through super chats or super stickers or gifting memberships. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, wherever you're watching me, I do appreciate all of that continued support. And I think it is time to wrap up the video. So awkwardly, I'm going to move on, but at least this is virtual and it's not live and we're not sitting around waiting for StreamYard to end the stream any moment now.